Let's get nasty on a Friday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Brad Thompson. I'm Anthony Stalter. Whoa! What the hell happened here?
Who's that guy running the board over here? Who's that? Shorter hair. Turtleneck threw me off a little bit. Solid mustache.
Handsome as ever.
I mean, dapper.
Marsh, what happened?
I got a haircut, Anthony.
What?
Why?
You were growing out the locks.
It was time.
Wow.
Time to chop it all off.
I mean, it looks good.
Thank you.
You kept the stash, huh?
I did keep the stash.
Marlboro
Bold
man
strategy.
himself.
What made you keep the stash? You went with everything else clean cut. Now, I will say, with the denim jacket and the turtleneck, I mean, hot damn, this plays. I think it was Rocchio in the office said you look like an 80s villain.
I do,
I'll give you that.
apparently. Like in a ski resort, that's what he said.
Oh, I could see it. Yeah, I can see it. Like, just came off the slopes, murdered two.
Oh, yeah.
And coming in for a nice cocktail.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like the isotone black gloves
Definitely
that he
had
used
those.
as well.
For sure.
I won't say the obvious joke on that one. Let's just keep it with the 80s villain.
Your reference is lost on me.
Yeah. So, yeah.
If the glove doesn't fit.
So he comes off the slopes, just killed two people.
Whack.
He's a narcissist. Yeah, whacked him hard.
Yep.
Then walks right into the little log cabin and acts like just charms everybody.
Well, I think that if you're going to be an effective killer like Marshy, we've turned him into, I think that you have to do that.
Yeah.
I actually just watched a movie on Netflix, Anthony, called The Killer, and it's about a contract killer.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's decent.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I saw it in
I have
the...
too much time on my hands, Anthony.
No, you're fine, Brad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. You get a lot of stuff done.
Pretty bored.
You're waiting for these Cardinals to make a move. I know they're going to make a move in January like every other team.
Did you hear the news about Yamamoto?
What?
No news yet.
Yeah, okay.
No news. Golfing with Newt, though. Like that.
When does he accept the deal with the Cardinals?
So he posts on Monday, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Cool 20 mil?
By Monday.
No big deal.
20 mil what?
Just a post, right?
Oh, yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah.
That's they've actually changed that over the years because the posting fee used to be like a even heftier percentage. So 20 million to get the guy that you want.
Right.
I mean, that's basically free, Anthony.
A lot of these owners have that in their couch cushions, Brad.
No, I would agree.
Well, and they were at Emo's the other day, too, apparently.
Did see that.
Yeah.
I did see that picture.
were at Emo's.
My favorite part, Marshy, of that picture was reading the comments.
Oh, yeah,
And
for
having everybody fighting each other. It's like, yeah, that's great. And then others like, it's a Photoshop.
Yeah.
And it's like, really?
They're in their uniforms. They're in their Japan uniforms.
At
They're
Emo's.
but they're
It's
at
a
Emo's.
Photoshop.
That's
really. Is it? Really?
That's incredible. I'll tell you what's not incredible, the Blues' performance last night. Absolutely tragic.
Photoshop that.
Holy smokes.
Just when you think you're out.
I mean, can we start here? That's unacceptable against that team.
No, that's stupid.
I know
That's
it
so
happens,
stupid.
Brad. I know if you just simply swap the Avalanche win with the Sharks loss,
It's a wash.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But you beat the Avs
Sure did.
badly.
Scored 8 against them, right?
You certainly did.
You've been putting up goals left and right.
Left and right.
And starting fast. Well, did it take, was it over 9 minutes for the Blues to get their first shot on goal?
That was
last night?
terrible.
It's not great.
No.
It's not how you draw it up.
Not at all.
Here's the way that I look at this right now, okay? Because we are prisoners of the moment. Although if you want to overreact, go for it. You should send us a mic drop. I think that'd be great. Overreacting over what we saw.
Overreacting Friday. Unless you're a Bengals fan, you're probably reacting perfectly.
He's probably fine. He looked pretty good on the sidelines. We'll get into Joe Burrow a little bit later as he
Yeah.
tried to feign throw a football and it dropped out of his hands.
Ooh.
Not great. Nope. Not great. But yeah, you can overreact and you can send us a mic drop. You can always text us into the show at the number that I don't have off the top of my head. 314-996.
There's a 6 in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
314-399-9646.
I'm going to get that in front of me right now.
You got it.
Yeah, but we do this all the time. And I guess it's the nature of like fandom is you see something bad and then just we react to it. Why can't we take the good 5 out of 6 you won? You scored a bunch. That's a clunker. Here's what I think, Anthony, about well-coached teams. Well-coached teams don't have 2 of those in a row. So if you see that again, then okay, I'm concerned. But sometimes you're going to go on the road and have a clunker. Now, I think that we could probably get into a little bit later, maybe, why is this team so crappy on the road? They've won 2 road games. They've been bad. And one of those games was that beatdown of Colorado, which was cool.
Yeah.
Are you a Colorado or Colorado? We've talked about
I say
this.
Colorado.
Colorado.
I'm a Rado. I'm a
You're a
Colorado.
Okay.
Like El
Colorado.
Dorado or El Dorado?
No, it's totally El Dorado. That's stupid. But Colorado. Colorado Rockies.
That's like saying off tin, but soft in. Or soft tin, but off in.
Well, it's often. And
Often.
soft.
I've never heard anyone say often.
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 So
Yeah.
is it soften or soft tin?
Soften.
Oh, no, it is
Gotta
soften.
put the T in there.
No, there's no T.
No, it's fabric softener.
I was just about to say, I'll hang up and listen. But just saying.
Even saying that threw me off a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do this a lot. We overreact to the one game. Are you concerned?
That's because it's the Sharks.
Okay, they were due.
That's
Tell me
like
this team
it-
wasn't due. They had won 2 games.
It was a
trap game.
It was your
It was
Sharks.
a trap game. It's not my Sharks.
I meant to lead with the congratulations. We
You
were all
son
down
of
in the dumps about the Blues losing, but you're happy.
I'm not a Sharks fan.
Okay.
I've been
Because
pretty
of the slow
consistent.
start?
I've been pretty consistent about this. All right.
guy.
But losing the
swear.
Sharks like that, it's like losing the A's. I know the A's won some games last year, but that was a minor league team that they put together.
Yeah.
This Sharks team is the equivalent of that. Ironically, also
They've
from
got-
the Bay Area for
They've got
now.
teams that are players that are getting paid real money.
Yeah.
So it's a professional team. That team can
Ish.
beat you. And they did. And you were abysmal. Do you think that there is such a thing? I've told you I'm a little bored right now. Have had a little bit more time to like watch Netflix and Prime and Hulu. But just pick your streaming service.
yeah.
I've watched some of these things. They're like, oh yes, I like Apple. But there's like a lot of like time travel. I watched this show called The Umbrella Academy where they just bounce like
great
different.
show.
Awesome,
Great
really
show.
good show.
I'm not into time travel. I feel like it gets
Well, guess what?
the storylines start to get mixed up, and I lose interest.
Well, the Blues are into time travel because apparently flying to the West Coast turned them into last year's defense.
Wow.
That's the weird thing that happened to them. They hit that space-time continuum, I think it is, and then all of a sudden they reverted back to defensively what they were a year ago. Was Hofer good?
No.
Not really. No.
No.
Was the defense in front of them good?
Not really.
They were really bad. Like so, but that has been better. All those things have been better. So let's not see it again.
You're going big picture on us here. You lost the 2-win Sharks.
Yeah, 3-win Sharks.
3-win Sharks now. They beat you like a drum. Joel Hofer, not great. Allowed four goals on 21 shots. Chiefs saw enough early in the second period, decided to give him a hook.
Good for
that's,
him.
That's nice. Jordan Binnington's been playing his ass off, got a nice night off. Nope, you're in. It's not all on Hofer. As you mentioned, sloppy play in front of him. That apparently was a trap game. I will say this, though. Pavel Buchnevich did get me on the board for the first goal. First goal of the game contest. So
See?
Marsh and I are now
Late,
tied.
too. Late.
It was late.
Glad
Feels
your
better.
priorities are straight, Anthony.
So
Thank
that
you.
right there, though, what you're talking about and you just reaffirming it, that is the beauty of betting on sports, okay? Because you might get your heart broken on one. Your team might get just stomped
Which feel
by
good.
San Jose. But if you hit some random bet that you threw out there of the first goal of the game for the Blues being Booch, well, guess what you just did? You cashed in.
Yeah.
So you get a little cash in your pocket, and then you hope they bounce back.
That it goes from how could you lose to the Sharks to hey, you know what? Sharks were due. That's what that happens. If you wind up cashing a bet like that, you wind up saying, you know it happens.
Yes.
We'll get him next time.
So text in to the text line here, the 314-399-9646. Got it this time. Says the fact that the Blues didn't just lose to the Sharks but got wrecked leads me to believe that this was a one-off. And I would agree with that. Like, you're just going to have games where it's like, boy, what happened? Is that bad? But when you have a couple of those in a row, that ends up being the issue. We all know this is a very slow start to the year for the Blues. Things have gotten better here recently. We know how bad the power play was for a while. Racked up a couple of goals against Colorado, and that was good to see. And it is Colorado, and it is Nevada, not Nevada. And somebody actually sent a text into the text line and said Washington or Washington.
Washington, but I think if you're from
There's
here,
a lot of people that say Warsh.
Yep.
Washington.
And 44. Farty. That's what it 44.
Warsh.
Farty.
Where is the Warsh? Like my dad's side is from New York, and they throw the R's in there.
Yeah.
Warsh.
Yep.
Yeah, like that's in there.
Well,
quite
it's
a bit.
silent.
The R is silent.
The R is silent.
Superfluous?
Yeah.
Is that what they call it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, your Blues stunk. The only thing could get worse is if you're also a Bengals fan. We'll tell you why next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Oh, well.
Ouch. BT, right now, new customers at FanDuel. When you sign up, get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline play.
You know how easy it is to win a bet, Anthony?
Oh, sure,
I mean, super easy. One bet, if you bet $5, you get a bonus $150.
A moneyline play.
Sign me a money line. I don't have to do the spread.
Don't have to worry about the spread at all.
Reindeer games.
No.
So I could, real quick, I could pick the biggest favorite, put my $5 on that, and then win $150 in bonus bets?
That's correct.
Sign me up. Where can I do that?
But you do got to sign up. Yeah, FanDuel.com/fast. Again, FanDuel.com/fast. And then you get the $150 if your team wins. So, BT, if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, now's a perfect time.
I can't believe you haven't done it already, but if you waited this long, you might as well take advantage. They've got it all. They do. They got spreads, obviously the money line bet, player props, over-unders. They build parlays for you. You can build your own. Get into it. Go to FanDuel.com/fast, as Anthony said, and kick off this NFL season the right way with FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL. 21 and over, present in Illinois. First online real money wager. Only $5 pregame money line wager required. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issues not withdrawable bonus. Best set expires 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Crowd sees the replay. Meanwhile, whoa! Here's Burrow shaking his head after trying to throw on the sideline. You can tell there's a problem.
After he attempted that first throw, you see the recoil, the reaction there. Now he's headed back to the locker room.
It's that screen grab that you saw earlier today. Yeah. And I said, it was nothing.
Yeah.
It was something.
Yeah, I would say so. Al Michaels last night during the game, the Ravens win. You thought, well, losing Mark Andrews, boy, that's a tough blow.
Early in the game.
Yes. So like the first drive of the game, he goes down. Like, boy, that's a tough loss for the Ravens. The Bengals said, hold my beer.
So I got one for you.
Joe Burrow suffered a torn ligament in his wrist, will miss the remainder of the season. He done. That's a brutal injury to a guy that had rehabbed the previous injury, the calf injury.
Yeah.
Did not play well in the first couple of games, clearly limited. Then that Arizona game, he looked spry again. He looked like Joe Burrow. He had the mobility back. The Bengals got back in it, only to lose to the Texans last week. And then last night to the Baltimore Ravens, and now you lose your quarterback for the year.
Anthony, you are basically Nostradamus at this point because you said early in the season you didn't believe that Cincinnati was going to be a playoff team.
Yeah.
And
I saw this coming, Brad.
you knew that there was going to be some sort of an injury that was going to take their best player out of the mix. And
I didn't say it, though, because that's just unprofessional.
No, of course you're not going to put that evil out there.
No.
But when you know things in your heart, you know things in your heart, Anthony. So
Right.
I guess congratulations on Joe Burrow's injury that led to him being out for the rest of the year. Anthony, good for you.
I didn't like the way you said that, Brad.
Oh, well, neither does he.
No, probably not. Boy, the Bengals are screwed now. So
That's the crazy part. The AFC.
Right. So now it's the AFC big picture here.
So, yeah, I believe that the Bengals have the toughest schedule, I think, in all of football down the stretch.
Is that all?
So, yeah, that's it. Now, I haven't heard yet, but I think that Zach Taylor will have a press conference soon saying, we will rally around Jake Browning. Is that who it is?
From Washington.
Fire up chips.
No. Nope, he played for Washington.
But the thing is, like, is anybody really out of it right now in the AFC? Because everything's up in the air. Everybody's on their backup quarterbacks or rookie quarterbacks. Like, it is going to be a shootout. Yeah, you got your teams that you know are going to be there. Your Chiefs are going to be there. Dolphins are going to be right there, in that mix. Although
Jaguars should. Ravens.
For sure. Baltimore, yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, you have probably two spots on the back end of this that could really be anybody's in the AFC.
You might have 3 spots, because the wild card has 3. So you get the Dolphins, Ravens, Jaguars, Chiefs. Those are your division leaders right now.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have 3 wild card teams. Buffalo's 5-5. Pittsburgh and Cleveland, they play each other this weekend, but they're both 6-3. Houston's 5-4. And the Raiders, your Raiders, are 5-5.
The Aiden O'Connell led Raiders. Now, Anthony, you're very good at this. Why don't you go ahead and lay out the picture how the Raiders find themselves a playoff team after letting go of their head coach. Go ahead and because you were talking about this in the office, and you were pretty adamant that they have a very good chance of doing so. Go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, definitely. Well, now that they got a head coach that they like to play for, that's kind of good.
Sure.
No, they're not going to make the playoffs. Unfortunately, they got Miami this weekend, the Chiefs next weekend.
Yeah.
The greatest quarterback known to man, Joshua Dobbs, and the Minnesota Vikings the following week. You still got to play the Chiefs twice. So the Raiders, not looking good. Good story, though. They got rid of the guy that still wants to be in New England, apparently. Got rid of him and promoted Antonio Pierce, and maybe he'll hold on to the job this time. Because Rich Bisaccia couldn't do it
at some point too.
I'm sure we will. But yeah, this is wide open now, Brad. This is wide open. So I guess the question is, who do you like as your wild card teams right now? If we eliminate the Bengals for obvious reasons, who are the 3?
I think the Browns are still in the mix.
I think the Steelers are.
Who wins that division?
The AFC North?
Yeah.
I say the Ravens.
Okay, well, that's actually very easy.
Yeah.
I think that the Browns, with their defense, are still going to figure out a way to do it.
They might get.
Sorry, Brad, but you're really wrong.
No, that's fair, Janet, and I missed you a lot.
Here's a question. Even though they lost to them a couple of weeks ago, the downtrodden Bills, do they benefit the most from Joe Burrow being out? Or is there another team?
No, look, the Bills, I forget where I was listening, but they had a conversation of, like, what's more likely, that the Bills wind up in the Super Bowl or they miss the playoffs entirely. And this was before their last loss. And now, obviously, the answer to that, I think, is a little bit easier. But the Bills are still a talented team, are they not? I mean, or at least they should be a talented team.
They've got talent on offense, and they've lost 3 of their best players defensively.
A little bit old defensively,
They're
too.
old. They're an older team overall, but you still have. So this is how good Josh Allen is, despite all the turnovers. Josh Allen can still rescue that team on his talent alone. You've got Stephon Diggs. I know there's, his brother was saying, "Oh, get him out of there" and all that. The Bills right now are still a team that can hang 30 on you at any given point, but they may have to outpace their defense. I don't think they're going anywhere if they get to the postseason, but I think they are the team outside of maybe Houston, which I would imagine, since they're playing a last-place schedule, their schedule is pretty light down the stretch here. Outside of Houston, I think Buffalo benefits the most with the Bengals being out.
How confident are you right now with the moves that they've made? They've fired Ken Dorsey. The Bills are looking to try to turn a page, right? Mm-hmm. Are you confident that they are just going to go and take care of business against the Jets?
Against the Jets, I do.
Favorite
yeah. But it's more about the Jets. It's one of those things. Like, am I confident in the Bills? Absolutely. Do I think the Bills are going to win by double digits? Absolutely. But it's because the Jets haven't scored a touchdown in 2 weeks.
2 factor.
3 weeks.
That's like the shark factor.
Maybe.
It's like, boy, they've only won a couple games.
Yeah. I don't think so, Brett. The Jets are 1-15 or 1-12 or something like that in divisional road games since 2012.
That's a good stat.
Not great at all. So I'm confident that the Bills will take care of business against the Jets. Beyond that, though, Buffalo's got a lot of issues. But the AFC, like you said, it's wide open now.
Does this, Anthony, feel like a year where there is more parity than we've had in a very long time?
Yeah, because the top teams are vulnerable, I think.
I'm going through. We got our 101 ESPN Pick'em Challenge against the Riz Show, which, I mean, we're crushing it. We're up 2.
Yeah,
is that correct, Anthony?
That's correct.
Who was on the wrong side of history last night for the Riz Show?
Riz and Rafe took the Bengals last night.
I mean, total Riz and Rafe move.
Totally.
Look at them go.
They put their team in jeopardy once again.
Does anybody ever do any advanced scouting and knew that Joe Burrow was wearing a glove on the bus and he had it on holding his iPad and nobody saw that?
How about that too? The NFL is going to do an investigation. That's all you need, right? If you're the Bengals, like, please investigate us, fine us. We just lost our quarterback for the entire season.
So stupid.
There's nothing more you can do to us. Go for it.
Look, here's the thing, and I understand all of this is predicated upon gambling, which, whatever, but we don't need to know everything. We need to know if Joe Burrow didn't practice. Like, the NFL gives us more information than any other league out there. I mean, it's like, guy didn't practice, did practice.
Hockey
blah, blah,
won't
blah,
even give you what specific injury. They'll just say upper body. The guy could have, who knows?
He could have been decapitated. It's upper.
It's upper. The same thing.
Like, is it what we saw? I can't tell you that.
Yeah.
Sorry. So they give you a lot of information. I think that one's stupid. I could see being like upset about it if he was like limited at practice and nobody ever talked about it. But that was kind of a silly one.
Yeah, I agree.
Either way, so we're up a couple of games in the Pick'em Challenge. But going back to the idea of parity, Anthony, like I'm looking at this week at all the games. And it's like there's not these dominant teams that are out there. You're looking at each game like, I don't know, I could see it going one way or the other.
I think there's a couple of factors in that. One, offense is down.
Okay.
Offense is down across the entire league. So you're getting a lot of close games. Last week, I think Jamie had the stat, didn't he, Marsh, where there was 5, or maybe it was UBT, 5 games that were decided in like walk-offs. Yeah, I believe last week.
Maybe it was Dan.
A lot of close games. It might have been Dan. Dan's got a lot of nuggets
the other day.
So you got a lot of teams. You've got league-wide scoring issues. So a lot of these games are close. A lot of these games are being decided in the final minutes. And the other factor, I think, is that the league, the top of the league, they're vulnerable. If you say the Eagles are the best team in the league, Jalen Hurts is banged up. You could tell he's playing hurt, and they don't feel like the same Eagles team as a year ago. Even though the roster, I think, is set. The Chiefs, defensively, they've been great, but offensively, they have left a lot to be desired. The Dolphins haven't beaten a winning team yet. I don't think the Lions, outside of Kansas City, has beaten a winning team yet. So the top of the league, you look at it and say, and then when you start to trickle down, I think that's where it creates a lot of parity.
Makes sense.
Mostly the offense.
Houston going to be a playoff team, Anthony?
I think so, yes. I think so.
Get him, CJ.
CJ Stroud is playing. Is he a top 5 quarterback? I'm not talking about like all time and moving forward. I'm talking about right now. Is CJ Stroud a top 5 quarterback?
Of course he is. I mean, look at the. I mean, if you're throwing out resumes and track record. Just look at the stats. He's top
this
5
season.
in everything.
Yep. He is second behind Sam Howell in yards in the league, and he's played one less game than Howell. His completion percentage off the charts.
Is it top 5?
It probably is top 5.
Oh, good, because I said he's top 5 in everything. And I didn't want you to prove me wrong on your second stat.
Yards per average, 8.3. It's third behind Brock Purdy and Tua. Touchdowns, let's see where he is on tutties. He's down a little bit with touchdowns. He's ninth.
Give me the touchdown interception ratio then, Anthony.
Well, 15-5. That's pretty damn good.
That's damn near 3-1.
QBR, which kind of a flimsy stat. He's, I forget it. He's 10th. The guy's top 10 in damn near every category as a rookie. It's impressive. What is the draw to come to St. Louis if you're a free agent? Besides the free zoo and the toasted Ravs and some of the stuff we always mention.
I think you just sold it, Anthony.
Maybe from a Cardinals perspective.
Okay.
What's the draw? We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues lost to the San Jose Sharks last night by a final score of 5-1. Yes, you heard that correctly. The Blues lost to the Sharks last night in San Jose. 5-1 the final. They'll be back in action taking on the Kings tomorrow night. Pregame starts at 8:30. Puck drop is at 9:30. Catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. If you did not like what you saw last night in the Blues game, send us a mic drop. Let us know what you're feeling if you still have faith in this Blues team after losing to the Sharks 5-1. Also last night, Thursday Night Football, the Ravens defeated the Bengals 34-20. Big news coming out of that game. Mark Andrews and Joe Burrow are out for the season. We just talked about that. If you missed that, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. You can find our full show there. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Finding roads and shop 24/7 at Londoff.com and LondoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
The good thing is when we are a good team and you bring players in, they never want to leave because it is a great place to raise a family. And when you're bringing guys in at 28, 29, 30, they're looking for different things in their lives than they were at 19, 20, and 21. And so our job is to create that foundation that, you know, in a year or two or whenever we decide it's time to start using our assets to acquire players, that we're going to acquire players that never want to leave. And that's what St. Louis does, though. It does grab you and keep you there. Like I look at Alexander Steen that came to us, you know, Jay Bouwmeester that came to us. They re-sign. Very few players really want to leave St. Louis.
Paul Stastny just said I think he's coming back.
Yeah, it's a fabulous place to live. It's a fabulous place to raise a family. It's a great sports town. So what we have to do is we have to build that foundation where good players want to come there and stay there.
A little offended that Army didn't mention Jamie Rivers, who is not even from this country and decided to stay here, too.
Yeah, had he had a little bit more time, I'm sure that Jamie would have been brought up.
Yeah, absolutely. So we played that clip because we wanted to have that carry over to the Cardinals. And if you talk about what is the draw to St. Louis if you're a free agent, well, Brad, you're from Vegas, as we know. You don't live in Missouri, but you live close. And you decided
to pay more taxes, Anthony.
Yes, you do. Absolutely. You decided to stay. So I do think that is a draw. But if we're talking about, and maybe I'm just cynical on this,
you
Brad,
sound cynical right now. I see it on your face.
If we're going to talk about, like, what is the draw to St. Louis if you're a free agent?
Yeah.
Money and an opportunity to win.
All right, I will agree. I'll agree with both of those things. Okay,
fair enough.
Number one,
next segment, please.
In free agency, coming up next. In free agency, it's going to be about cash. We talked about this a couple of days ago. There is no such thing as a hometown discount anymore. There is not a baseball heaven discount. You're not going to get that in free agency. There are too many teams that have money, have needs, and which, by the way, are good destinations. You look at all these teams that need starting pitching, Anthony. You look at the Dodgers want starting pitching. The Giants, both teams in New York are looking for starters. Atlanta, who has a very good ball club, needs starting pitching. Like, there is going to be plenty of competition when it comes down. Yeah, for sure. When it comes down to landing that guy. So, and I agree with the chance to win. I mean, we'll get into that in a second. But outside of those two things, realistically, if you are selling the Cardinals, Anthony, what are some of your go-tos, or what are you? How are you laying it out there aside from the money? Let's say the money is equal to everybody else. What are you selling with the organization?
I'm selling two things that would seemingly contradict themselves, but if I'm talking to, so like Brad, you're a free agent, right?
We're
really interested in
hot and heavy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're very interested. So let's just say the money's right, but the money's comparable elsewhere.
Okay. Yeah.
Say, Brad,
if you say the zoo, I swear to you,
we got a free zoo.
Okay.
Penguin House is also I would say
the Penguin and Puffins. It's not just penguins.
That's true,
Anthony. People always call it the Penguin House, but those Puffins are badass.
They're fantastic. I'd say to you, Brad, a long tradition of winning here. We have had a sustained culture when it comes to winning. Last year, though, unacceptable. We didn't make the playoffs. We're looking to move forward, but move forward with the right people, and we're missing guys. Specifically, we're missing guys like you. So we want guys that want to be here and to turn around this organization quickly, because we're not used to this. You see the track record, but we're moving forward, and last year was unacceptable, but we need guys like you.
I'm in.
Yeah, sold. And you said the money is still there?
Money's comparable. Yeah.
Okay.
We got two right here, two pitchers
Done
right here.
and done, Anthony.
There we go.
I am in.
I mean, I've been thrown probably since BT played. Nor was I any
fresh.
good.
Yeah, you're probably not hurt at this point.
Yeah. I'll strap, I'll throw the glove on.
Yeah. You were going to say you were going to strap it on.
Yeah.
Good
catch. Different sport.
Yeah,
Go to work.
Good catch.
Either way. No, I think that you have to sell. I think you're selling legacy. Like, we're talking about top end starters right now, right? When I'm talking about having these sales pitches, I think that is one thing. And I would bring in I'd bring in a lot of Cardinal Hall of Famers as I'm doing these.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bringing them in. Obviously, you're going to sit down and be like, oh no, Ozzy, I didn't know you were going to be here.
What are you doing
at
here,
this
Albert?
dinner? Look at you hanging out. Yeah, Albert,
What are you up to?
He comes here all the time. No, you definitely do that. You do all those things. But like, you sell legacy. You think about, all right, let's just call it a 5-year contract for a starter. Pick your starter, whoever that is. Within a 5-year contract, that player could have a big enough impact to be never forgotten in this community. Mm-hmm. And to be a player that on opening day down the road, he is going to be there shaking hands with the next generation that want to be just like him. Yeah. To me, that is a large selling point. Now, Anthony, that's not a big enough selling point to hurdle over your number one and number two. Number one is the amount of money that you are going to get, because more money can buy me a red jacket. Now, will it have the same power? Yeah, maybe not.
Probably not.
But you can get all color jackets if you wanted to. And the chance to win is a part of a legacy. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that when we're talking about that, we're talking about building a legacy. I don't think that within a 5-year period, a guy is going to do anything that is good enough to last and remember if in fact it doesn't correlate with winning.
Right.
So those two things absolutely go hand in hand. So with that being said, Anthony, as you look at the Cardinals, 20 games under 500 last year, how close do you think they are in terms of the division to get back to winning if you do land that free agent that you're talking to?
In terms of the division, I think they're 3 starters away.
Well, your division-leading Brewers look like they are going to sell.
Yeah.
And they already lost Brandon Woodruff for the year. Corbin Burns could be out.
Right.
Willie Adames might end up being out of that mix as well.
Yeah. If we're talking about winning the division, you're improving. You're an improved pitching staff and defense, which I think will be improved next season. You're improved starting pitching staff away from winning the division. If you're talking about going beyond, you're 2 studs in that starting rotation away, at minimum.
Yeah,
you're 2 top end guys away. So I think there's a difference, and you hope that the 2 top end guys are going to be in here next year, but that's not feasible unless somebody like Tink Hence or one of these other guys is ready to go and has a Spencer Strider type rookie season. Other than that, if we're talking about improving the starting rotation, I think you're an improved starting rotation away from winning the division.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
It's a sliding scale of what we're talking about.
Yeah, and that's part of your sales pitch, right? Say, hey, I am you away. Like, I need you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm talking to a couple other guys. But,
right.
No, I need you, though.
But you're the one.
Sure. You're absolutely the one. The big thing, too, I mean, you're obviously going to bring up the fan base. They were 20 games under 500, and you brought in 3.2 million people this year. Like, that is unheard of. So when you have guys that have played in different atmospheres, that is a draw. Like, you want to play somewhere that has that sort of energy. Now, some of these guys have played in those places. I think that Nola knows what a packed building is like and what it sounds like, what it feels like. And I think that part of getting free agents and getting the right guy is getting the right guy. You have to know how some of these players tick. You have to know, like, there are some players that are going to want the large market. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get
Nothing
that
you
player.
could do.
Like that's not gonna, there are some players that grew up on a coast and that's just how they are. Okay, you're probably not going to get that guy. There are some players that like the Midwest and want to be in that mix. You should probably go acquire that guy. And the big one that,
Sonny
I
Gray.
mean, it was a miss a long time ago was Scherzer, obviously. Like that, he signed a contract that was buku bucks, and it's very easy to say they got underpaid in that deal. But Sonny Gray does, to your point, Anthony, that seems like a fit when you're looking at fits. So, and it also fits in the idea of you're not going to have to overextend yourself years-wise with Sonny Gray. And that's not saying that they're not going to go after Nola and they're not going to go after Snell or Yamamoto. You're going to be in the mix for all of these guys. But there's a very good chance that they pick elsewhere. Sonny Gray has been in smaller markets. Now, Oakland, I mean, is still Bay Area, but I mean, they're, well, now Las Vegas coming up, but small eyeballs on the product. He pitched in New York. That didn't go so good.
Right. That's
for
what
him.
I was thinking about the Midwest.
Went to Cincy, went to Minnesota.
Well. Yeah.
And
Pitched well in both.
St. Louis seems like a very good fit. And a lot like Paul Goldschmidt is a very good fit for St. Louis. Guy wants to just be quiet, go about his business, and hopefully at the end of his tenure, like he's revered here. I think those are your selling points. But it's difficult to come in and sell and say, hey, we're going to compete for a championship this year.
Right.
You don't have that team yet. You don't. Now, Goldie's going to be a selling point for you. Arenado is the young nucleus that you have on a ball club, but you have to be, and I think that this is something, I know this is something that bit them last year as they were looking at the starting pitching market. You're looking at some of these contracts, you're like, man, he's not worth that.
Yeah.
For sure. And guess what? We are going to say that about 15 pitchers at least this offseason. That guy's not worth blah, blah,
Most
blah.
of the time, market.
The
That's how
market
it
is the
is.
market.
Yes.
I went to, well, it doesn't matter where it was. I won't name out the store. Names rhymes with Raider Bose. Went and got some bread a little bit earlier. I'm like, how much for bread?
Yeah.
Is that? But that's
$32 for
that's
half
what
a
it
loaf?
costs. That is the market at this point. So you have to be able to shop there.
Do you
if
want it
wanna
or
do
not, sir?
I don't. I'm fine with it. But my kid only likes that bread. He's fancy.
I went to Raider Bose yesterday.
Did you?
Did you?
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
It's a
It's a
good
great place.
It is. It's a solid
place.
Yes. It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN.
Expensive bread.
Yeah, they certainly do. Are we on the
You can't ever
verge?
get a parking space at Raider Bose either. That's the hard part.
Raider Bose, sometimes I walk in there and I think like I feel like I'm in like a simulation. Like the parking lot,
Right.
there's never a spot that's open. Like
Yeah,
BT
somebody
said.
built it wrong.
Did you guys?
Something's wrong with it.
Did you guys have to park at Hack Honolds?
I did
Yeah.
today. Where it said like Hack Honolds customer parking only. And I was
Right.
like, wow, they're not gonna know. What
are you gonna do about it?
Donald Hack Honnold gonna come over here and tow my car?
What is Himmis going to come over and beat me up? I don't think so.
doubt it. The Ram burglar? Nope.
It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN. Are we on the verge of chaos in college football? Maybe a little bit this weekend. We'll tell you why next in the fast lane on 101 ESPN. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Brad Thompson filling in for Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Are we on the verge of chaos in college football? I think that if you expand this to the next 2 weeks, Brad, the answer is absolutely 100% yes. I think you are going to get a little chaos this weekend, though, because I have Washington going into Corvallis and losing to Oregon State tomorrow night.
Really?
They're number 5. Washington's number 5.
Okay.
Oregon State's 11. And we've been sizing this up in the Pac-12 as, okay, the winner in that rematch between Washington and Oregon, they're likely in. I think Washington stumbles before that, though.
You have been talking about this for a little bit with Washington, haven't you?
Yeah.
Like, what is it about them that doesn't have you believing? I know probably not the quarterback.
Brad.
Yes.
When your father used to talk to you about football,
Yeah.
he said, Bradley, one thing is always going to be true. Blank wins championships.
Yes. Defense.
Defense wins championships. Unfortunately, Washington doesn't have much of a
They
defense.
got Michael Penix Jr., though.
They do, and he's been phenomenal, and he has outpaced his own defense at times this year. But I feel like since they came back and beat Oregon in that last second win over Oregon, they have walked a very tight rope, and they're about to fall off.
Anthony, what does your ideal Final Four look like for
Ooh,
you?
that's fun.
Because, I mean, when we're talking about chaos,
Like who we wanna see?
Yeah, well, we're rooting for it getting mixed up.
Yeah.
Because currently it's Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, which, as we all know, those two will face off next week, minus Jim Harbaugh. And then Florida State is currently number 4. And as you mentioned, Washington sitting there at 5.
If you're asking me the most compelling top 4, in any order, Georgia, Michigan, because I think Michigan beats Ohio State next weekend.
You were saying in the break you think that they're just going to drum them.
Ohio State's got a stout defense, so it's not like Michigan's going to absolutely destroy them. Although the last 2 years they've done quite well. But outside of Marvin Harrison Jr., Ohio State doesn't have an offense. I don't see how Ohio State scores more than 20 points against Michigan next week. I really don't.
If Michigan loses, real quick, Anthony, if they lose in, like, especially if they lost badly, I mean, how much are we going to be talking about this whole cheating scandal even more?
It'll probably be the topic of conversation for about a day, and then nobody's going to be talking about Michigan the rest of the year.
The news cycle, well, until Harbaugh goes to the Raiders, and then I think we'll be talking.
We'll talk about Michigan's replacement. Yeah, absolutely. But Michigan cannot lose.
Okay,
they cannot lose a game because they've got one top 25 win, and it came last week against Penn State. You can do that and be ranked high, but you cannot lose now. So if they beat Ohio State, they'll have 2, and then the Big Ten championship is that's going to be a joke, no matter if Michigan or Ohio State makes it. So Georgia, Michigan, and then I think Oregon getting in would be great because I think Oregon is one of those teams that continues to get better each and every week. And then I'm going to disrespect Florida State and bounce them out.
I was just going to say, in all due respect to the Seminoles and all of their fans, not doing much for me.
No.
I don't know why. And, well, you talk about big wins. Who is their big win? Is it week 1?
It's week 1 against LSU. That's it. They've got a top 5 win over LSU. They were down, I think, a touchdown to Duke at home before roaring all the way back. That's their only top 25 win. They've got North Alabama this weekend, then Florida, and then they'll take on somebody in the ACC title game. So they're going to have probably 3 top 25 wins. That's probably going to be enough, plus a conference title to get them in. Because whoever loses the Ohio State-Michigan game next week is going to be out in the Big Ten. So Georgia, Michigan, Oregon, and then I would be really interested to see Texas get in.
Me too, Anthony. You know I'm a Longhorn fan ever since COVID when I picked the team.
They've got wins against Bama, Kansas State. So they got 3 top 25 wins, and their loss came against Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry. It was a last second game when Oklahoma was ranked 12th. So they have what the committee would view as a good loss. If Florida State's undefeated, they deserve to get in. Go for it. But if you're asking me from a competition standpoint, Georgia, Michigan, Oregon, and Texas, I would find extremely interesting.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. When the hell? We have this conversation every year around these times. When are we going to get that expansion, Anthony?
Next year. Next year, college football expand.
How much, though?
I think it's 8 college
Like,
football expansion.
Like doubles? Doubles.
I think it goes to 8.
Great. We got a text, by the way, that asked, "Is there any chance the 2 SEC teams can get in?" No chance. Is it 12 next year?
College football will expand from 4 to 12 teams starting with the 2024-2025 season.
Anthony, I stopped doing radio every day for a couple months, and all of a sudden, good things happen.
I said 8 just so you'd get excited over 12.
Yeah. I'm pumped up
better
about
than
12.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be the MIZ's going on a run.
Damn right they
That'd
are.
be fun.
So if they win out, they're gonna get into a New Year's Eve bowl. I keep saying Eve, New Year's Day bowl. What's your top 4, guys? What would you like to see? I know, Marsh. The one team that I mentioned in there that you absolutely hate is Michigan. So.
Yeah, no, I don't want them in there.
Do you want Ohio State?
Not really. I don't really care for either of those teams.
Okay, because I was about to say your version of Michigan has always been my version of Ohio State and Brad's version of Ohio State. It's a team outside of the Cardale Jones year where they got in and they beat Alabama and they were an underdog. Outside of that team, Ohio State consistently, especially in the mid-2000s, that was the team that would get in. You're like, no, because you knew exactly what was going to happen. So your version of Michigan is my version of Ohio State.
I just think, Michigan, they lay an egg every time in the semifinals, so I don't want them in it. Ohio State's fine. Actually, they almost beat Georgia last year, which shouldn't come as a surprise now with C.J. Stroud.
No kidding.
And then they kicked the field goal at midnight.
Mm-hmm.
That's how long these games last.
Get a pitch clock.
Man, I don't know. Yeah, right. Washington. I would like to see Washington in there.
Over Oregon? I think Oregon's a better team.
No, but yes. Like, Oregon is another team that, they haven't been in the college football playoff in quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Washington, though, like they're never really there. Like they're not a team that's always like a consistent powerhouse. So I would like to see a new team kind of make their way into the fold. Florida State, I don't know. I think them
Oregon
boring.
does it though over Washington for the fringe fan.
Yeah.
Where you think, oh, the Ducks, I remember them. And,
that is true.
And to
I
me,
like their multitude of uniforms.
of course you do. Love those silver helmets that they rock.
I actually hate their helmets.
What?
I hate that O on the back of their helmet. I think it looks stupid.
All right, fair enough.
Stupid.
I do like the wings, though.
The wings
take
are
the
good.
O off.
Yeah.
And Texas, just for
I would like Texas
we're
in.
talking like geographically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we've had this conversation about USC a ton. Football is better when USC is good. Football is better when Texas is in the mix. Now Oregon, obviously, and like if we can,
You got it covered.
You got to span the country. Like that's what you need to do. When everything is in the SEC, yes, of course, everybody in the SEC with their couches in their front yard love it. But it's
Don't
not.
knock it until you try it.
No, of course. We had one in college. It was great.
Yeah.
It was actually
Didn't make
very comfortable.
Didn't make any sense,
No,
but you
it was
did it anyway.
disgusting
Yeah,
too. I mean,
oh,
this
yeah,
couch
yeah.
had so much in it.
Sure.
Out of the top 8 teams, there are only 2 teams that I would be just disgusted by if they're in the top 4.
Can I guess?
Yes.
Michigan and Alabama.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Alabama, if Alabama beats Georgia
I
in
get
the
it.
SEC title, they're going to be in, Marsh.
I hate that.
Alabama?
Yes.
And so is Georgia. So we just got that question too.
Absolutely.
If Georgia loses in the SEC championship, do they
Yes.
get in? Absolutely yes.
Yes, because here's the thing, and if you think I'm crazy on this, understand that I'm viewing this from the committee standpoint. Georgia would have wins against Kentucky, Mizzou, Ole Miss, Tennessee. Let's say they lose to Alabama in the SEC title game. They'd have 4 wins over top 25 opponents and a quote-unquote good loss.
Yeah.
Alabama would have the SEC championship victory, so that would be one ranked win against Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee, LSU. That'd be 4, and their loss would be a good one.
Well, that's exactly what this
Texas.
is what's going to happen. Alabama
Alabama's
is
gonna get
going
in.
to beat Georgia. Georgia will move to 2. Alabama will go to 4. They won't meet in the semifinal. They'll both beat the teams in the semifinal and play each other in the national championship,
correct.
just like it usually is. And we will see an entire season of parity, and it'll be the same 2
Don't be
teams at
upset.
the end of the year. No, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yes. He gets it. Hey,
SEC.
we're taking your overreactions. We're taking your Blues overreactions after the loss of the Sharks next on 101 ESPN.
Definitely a retool.
Can you play that again? Just one more time? I may have missed it.
Definitely a retool.
Are they talking about this show? Is that the same we need?
Yeah, probably. Maybe. No, I think it was the Blues.
Blues overreaction. That's what it was. That's what
Blues
we were doing.
overreactions. Was that Jason that left us that mic
That was
drop?
Jason. I mean, short,
and sweet.
to the point.
Yes.
Is that Jason's MO? Like, doesn't waste any time. There's no, like, flowers or anything. It's
I
just
don't know
like,
if we've-
this is what he's thinking.
I don't know if we've heard from Jason before.
He just gets in and gets out.
That's Jason.
That's Jason.
That
There's
is
no
such
doubt
a
about
Jason
it. Yeah.
move.
Hey, 306, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. So we are taking your Blues overreactions after the loss of the Sharks. Now, you won't hear one from BT because he's going all big picture. Oh, it's been really good of late. Why are you going to highlight the last night? Because it was the Sharks, and it was an absolute embarrassment.
Oh, no, it sucked.
Come on, man. It's not like you lost in the shootout, which would have been worse, which would have been bad in and of itself. You didn't play well. You had your goalie hooked.
Well, Anthony, let's just follow the line. Obviously, they don't like Hofer. I got to play hard for him.
That's actually a
great
good
point. Just go down
underlying
that
point. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's hear from Evan with the Blues
This will
overreaction.
be balanced.
My thoughts on the Blues season is it's already over. Start rebuilding.
Okay.
The difference between this season and 2019 is very simple.
Talent.
2019 team, even when they were doing very bad, there was so many questions of why it wasn't working. This year, everyone knows why it's not working.
Why is it?
We minus Benner and Thomas, everyone else is fair game. Go ahead and have them. We don't have enough skill, and we're paying way too many players too much money to be flexible.
It was just one game.
I think Kyle.
Well, but he went big picture
Yeah,
there.
he did,
He
yeah.
did go, he went the season as a whole, Anthony.
Yeah, what? Buchnevich, I would
It's
include also as I don't want to give up. I don't want to give up the
Super
Buchinator.
talented. Buch's probably your most talented player.
I think top to bottom, all around, it's Buch.
Yeah.
Jordan Kyrou, I think, leaves a lot of people disappointed. But if he hasn't been, I mean, that kid's been robbed 15 times.
Oh, golly, stop. He must live in a dangerous area.
I mean, on the ice.
I'm sorry?
On the ice, he's been
Security, one time. Pep it up a little bit.
I mean, he's been
I get
robbed
patted
by
down.
Goaltenders on saves.
That makes
on
a lot more
shots.
sense, Anthony.
Yeah.
Probably lives in a very safe community here.
Probably, I would imagine so, given that 8-year contract and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, big picture there from Evan. I don't, as much as last night sucked, you're still a talented enough team to make the playoffs, and not making the playoffs. I mean, two years in a row in hockey, not great for ownership at all.
Well, especially when you are a market like St. Louis.
Correct.
Like, you need to be in the postseason. You need to be able to make that money. But think about the range of emotions we've had here watching the Blues over the last couple of weeks. You knew coming into this season it was a retool or a rebuild or whatever you want to call it.
Retool.
It was a retool, okay? And you start off slow and your special teams suck, but then all of a sudden you go on a run. You win 5 out of 6, you're scoring at a crazy high clip, and then you look, you're in like 4th place, you're a win or so away from being in a playoff spot. You say, okay, well, you don't even have to squint very hard to see that this can be a playoff team. I think that's what this year is going to be. It is going to be a roller coaster, okay? Remember, you mentioned the 2 big contracts. Marshy, you got Thomas and you've got Jordan Kyrou. They are your highest paid players. They are looked at to lead this team. It's hard when you have young guys doing that. Like, there are going to be ups and downs when it comes to that. And I think that this is going to be a team, when you get to the end of the season, guys, you're going to look and say, we're going to be in the last week or so. And the hope is they're still fighting for a playoff spot. I doubt they'll have anything sewed up by then.
Why do we always say roller coaster? Like, I find roller coasters to be pretty fun.
Sometimes they're scary, though. Like, that's the part of it. It's like and then like there's so many, and I'll make all the noises you want, but it's,
that was interesting.
There are ins and outs. Like, there are times where you think you might die.
Oh, there's a few times
You might pass out.
I hate the old rickety wooden ones.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the ones.
The Screaming
Although
Eagle?
The one, I think it is. The one at Six Flags, it is an old rickety. Rickety is the wrong word. It is an
jumps
old
the track.
wooden roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's phenomenal, and it's very safe.
It's part of but it's part of the fear, though.
Of course
like,
it is.
Hey,
I've been on some of those before. You're just shaken to death.
Right.
And then you're like, I don't know if this looks like a big house of matches.
Yeah.
It's going to go down.
Yeah,
Brad,
the boss is like that, too. At one point, you feel like you're actually going to fly off. No, not our boss, the boss.
Bruce Springsteen?
No, the roller coaster.
Where's the boss at?
At Six Flags.
Is it really?
I don't know.
The boss.
Why have we not done a
roller
Six
coaster.
Flags trip in a while?
We
did a radio. We did a show. We did the ESPN summer tour. We were doing that for a while, and we did a Six Flags one.
Yeah,
Anthony, were you there?
No, I wasn't there.
You should have been there.
That was back in the Randy days.
Oh, it was. Maybe it was. Maybe it was Randy and Ranj.
And Meat ripped his pants or something, didn't he?
Ranj ripped his pants. So it was so hot, first of all.
Yeah.
It was the summer tour, and we're outside. They had, I think, freshly paved some of the roads inside, like some of the walk paths.
Sure.
Our chairs were sinking into the asphalt. It was so hot. And then Ranj got up from one of these chairs and ripped his shorts.
Oh.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Was there a nail or something?
No, it's so you know those metal chairs that we used to take on remotes every once in a while? Like there was just a little edge of it that was up and just snagged them. But
that sucks.
I'm a big roller coaster fan,
Yeah.
but not when it comes to your team that you watch day in and day out, because that ends up getting a little bit frustrating. But as we talked about right off the jump, Anthony, when you see very good play for 5 games,
right,
and you know it's in there, and then you see the clunker, the next game is the one that's always so interesting because how does each individual make an adjustment? Coaching wise, how do you get to them? I think that there is a bigger picture that this team has struggled on the road. Maybe we'll get into more of why those issues are there for them. But the next game is the big one.
It's funny, the roller coaster analogy is so apt with it's so appropriate with the Blues, because I do feel like with every win, especially over a team like the Avalanche, that roller coaster, you're going up. It's like, this is incredible. This is going to be amazing.
But then the drop is huge.
The drop is huge. So every hill, every win feels like, man, this team's got something. And then every loss, it's like, just sell the team.
This ain't the mine train, Anthony.
No, it's not. It's absolutely not. Your son, Dylan, did quite well on the Aerosmith roller coaster ride.
Oh, yeah.
Down at Disney.
I told you about that, huh?
Poor kid.
I talked him into it real quick. I was like, buddy, dude, come ride this roller coaster. You'll like it. He's like, I don't think so. I don't like it. I'm like, dude, you got this. And he did it, and it was at the end of it. Anybody that's been on it, it's like a light show the whole time. It's dark, but then quick lights. There's a lot going on. It's a fast roller coaster. It slows down. You all know the end. You hear it start slowing down. I go, dude, how was it? Dude. He's passed out. He passed out. I had to shake him to wake him up. I was like, dude, don't tell your mom.
I know he's fine now.
Don't tell mom.
I can only imagine how terrifying that would have been for you as a father. Please, what happened?
Both things. As a father, I was like, he's not dead, right? I didn't kill our kid on this roller coaster. Okay, he's okay. But think about that. Have you ever been, obviously not, and anybody's listening, have you ever been so terrified that you passed out? What level of terror has to be in your life that your body can't take it anymore, and you're out?
Check out.
That must have been awful.
Poor kid.
What if you wrestle him? I'll buy you whatever you want. Just shut up when we get back to mom.
What was the roller coaster? The Demonator?
It was the Rock and Roller Coaster at. It was one of the Disney properties.
Yeah, that one.
Studio?
It was Hollywood. Yeah, because poor Killian wasn't tall enough, and of course Madeline was. So Madeline would.
Did she love it?
Well, we didn't go on because we had Killian too, so we were like, we're a family. It's okay, buddy. No, we don't want to ride it. And then Madeline, the entire trip, was like, I was tall enough to go on that ride.
I don't want to do it. I wasn't going to pass out like Dylan.
But you told me the best part, though, at the end where the one kid didn't go.
Oh, yes.
And then you were walking out.
There was another kid right in front of us, and he bailed out. His parents were like, okay, we'll just wait here in the little shop. We'll get you. And Dylan, after I wake him up, when we get off, he sees this kid in the gift shop. He goes, you made a really good choice.
He tells the kid.
By the way, I know we're really into different metaphors and similes and all that stuff. Obviously the roller coaster one, but here's another good one from the 618. It's like diarrhea. You have it once and you shrug it off and move on. Have it a few times in a row, there might be something wrong.
Yeah, that's that's a really good. Analogy.
Yeah, no, that's actually that's a good
works.
call. This isn't normal.
No,
Sometimes you have it too much to where you miss half the show.
Yeah. Was that you?
Yeah, it was Marshy.
Wow.
That
He was gone.
somebody.
He left
It was
the entire
somebody.
show.
Well, you was. Yeah, it was
Allegedly.
you. You were
Allegedly.
gone the entire show.
We might have made up a story.
Yeah, we did. We definitely did. Marsh was calling a game that day. By the way, speaking of Disney, so do you know the Everest ride? Did you ride that?
Huh.
The I forget where it's at. The Everest ride. So Madeline at 7 and Killian at 5. We're like, hey, we're going. Come on, we're here to ride roller coasters, right? And they were freaking out. So Chris and I were standing in the line with the kids. We're trying to convince them to go on, and finally, like, no. So we go out, get them with Grandma, and then Chris and I go ride the ride, and we're like ticked. Like, we're here, spend all this money, try to ride a
Have
roller
some
coaster.
fun.
Jeez, family, unbelievable. And we rode this thing. Thank God they did not go on. We got off the roller coaster. Chris and I were like, thank God they didn't want to go, because that was probably one of the, for them, like it was, for us as an adult, it was kind of hectic. For them, they would have been terrorized. They would have been all
Yeah,
like, that
you
would
don't
have
want
been
to ruin it for
them.
everybody.
Yeah.
Is it the Expedition Everest at
Yes.
Animal Kingdom
Yes.
at Walt Disney World?
That's what it is.
Thank you for
It's a
going
great
for it.
ride.
I'm at the point, though, where I'm paying this much money, Anthony, for this. Like, whatever it is, we're going on this vacation.
You're going.
I'm getting on one of these roller coasters.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Spending
Yeah,
$50
let 'em
on an
about it.
ice cream cone.
Yeah, absolutely. Same Mickey Mouse ice cream that you can find pretty much anywhere. Should the Cardinals go big or go home? We'll even have that option. That's next on 101 ESPN.
sorry. There is no settling this year. Mozeliak has lost all hope, all ifs and buts after 2019. And it's time to go big or go home, boys. You either go out and get the free agents you need or don't even show up next year because you don't deserve the paycheck that he gets paid. The fact that he's had 14 winning seasons, congratulations, but how many championships did he win in that 14 seasons? Not good enough, boys.
All right, that's the one and only, the 6-1 great here in the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Real quick.
Did we change the name?
Yeah. Yes. Because I wanted to lift. No, we did. I did. I wanted to lift him up. I wanted to lift him up.
Good.
I wanted to encourage
Avid
him.
listener.
It listens all the time. Mm-hmm. I appreciate that.
I feel bad, too. He just got relocated to Vegas, his organization.
Well, we never got
I thought he got relocated.
No, we never got the possum.
Oh.
So no deal on that.
What am I missing here with the 6-1 hate? Great. Sorry.
Marsh traded him to the A's for that possum that was.
That was a collective effort.
I did.
Package deal?
I traded him. I traded the 6-1 great to the A's for the possum that terrorized the booth.
See, terrorized, I think you're giving that possum a bad rap. I think possum in general, or opossum, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
They get bad raps. Like, are they heinous to look at times? Sure.
Yeah.
But just because he is inhabiting a place doesn't mean he's terrorizing it. You know what I mean?
That's a fair point, BT. Either way, I thought, and this was during one of the losing months for the Cardinals, I thought he would bring us good luck. So I made that deal. But the A's never followed through, probably because they didn't want to pay the shipping and handling to get the opossum to St. Louis. Either way, we still have the 6-1 great. I do want to hear, and I want to hear your comment here.
I have no comment.
Yes, you do. I can see your face. I can see your face right now. You got to tell BT. You got many tells. I know you want to say something. There's several of them right there. But if you're still listening,
I'm all in.
If you're still listening, 6-1 great. I do want to know, and in all seriousness, go big or go home. I'm for it. I'm all in on that.
I am too. I love it.
But what free agents specifically? I would like to set the expectation. So we're going to say
Yoshinobu Yamamoto. If you don't get Yoshi, then go yourself.
I want to hear from the 6-1 grade to actual names,
Nola or Snell.
But that might be
one of those three.
Okay, but that might not be enough though for him.
Oh,
this is what I'm saying.
Go big, go home.
Yeah, I want to know from him. And this is just, it's an inquiry, okay?
Yeah.
I want to know from him, what is go big or go home? Is it just Yamamoto? Is it just Snell? Is it Snell?
Is it simply dollars spent?
Is it exactly? So let's kind of set the expectation line.
Well, we can't just wait for him to get back to us.
No, that's what I'm saying. We could still do the show.
Well, you said, we could try.
Leave us another mic drop if you don't mind. I would love to know what go big or go home is.
I'll give Anthony's cell phone out really quick if you want to call him directly.
Yeah, give him Marsh's.
By the way, from the 618, fun fact, opossums eat ticks and mosquitoes and cannot catch rabies. It was a great trade.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought so too.
Wait, they can't catch rabies?
Apparently not.
How gangster are you if you can't even get rabies?
Right.
Like, what bad stuff you got going through your body where you can't get rabies?
No doubt, yeah.
What can they give you then?
Nothing.
If they can't even get rabies, what can a possum...
You're untouchable.
Like superpowers?
Probably.
Like, somebody going to turn into Possum Boy?
Maybe.
Like
those
goes
cells
to save
are
somebody
active.
and just gone.
Yeah. Anyways, Brad, you were saying in reaction to the 6-1 greats mic drop.
Couple things. One, the idea of go big. I'm pretty sure that's the idea. Okay, is they know that they have to go big. They know nobody wants to be at the point where they're shopping for two frontline starters. Like, that is not an ideal place to be, and it certainly isn't a cheap place to be. So organizationally, they know it's a go big year, and as we've talked about in the past, I believe that they looked at last year and said, just not, no, those prices are too high. And then all of a sudden you look around, it's like, boy, but other people paid them. And not that every signing went well. Like we've talked about some of those deals that guys were hurt throughout the year.
Most didn't.
Yeah, for sure.
Jacob deGrom did not work out. Carlos Rodon did not work out.
Hurt, yes. And those, Quintana they were in on him as well. And he was hurt for a large part of the year. So
he pitched well when we got back.
For sure. And I also believe that just because that was the case, right, that those guys got hurt, I don't think that gives you an out. I don't think that gives you, it's like, well, see, they were hurt. No, it's like, but I feel like you'd have a little bit more leeway from the fan base. It was like, yeah, but I went out and signed freaking DeGrom. Like, it didn't work, but I tried to go get that guy. So I totally agree with that part of it. But here's where the issue is, and this is going to be the crux of it, and this is going to be the interesting thing going forward through this entire offseason, Anthony, is there are so many teams that need pitching. And there are so many teams with big money, big markets that need these same players that you need. So whoever is on the 6-1 Great Hates big go home or go big or go home list, there are going to be like 10 or 12 teams that want that player. So oftentimes it's not going to come down. The money is going to be the same. Everybody's going to be near that same area, right? And maybe the Cardinals or a team will go a little bit higher or tack on another year. But at the end of the day, like, to say if you don't land one of these guys, pack it in. It's idiotic because you have to go out. Like, the market is going to dictate where these guys go, and preference is going to dictate where these guys go.
They're also human beings, with their own choices.
Of course. So. Look, maybe you had a guy that grew up. It's like, man, I always wanted to be a Dodger.
Yeah.
And now you have an opportunity. The Dodgers are giving you a call. You get a chance to pitch there, Chavez Ravine, Dodger Stadium, and that can be your home. Then you're going to pick that, chances are, because, again, the money is going to be, nobody's getting discounts, okay? The Dodgers aren't getting a discount. The Cubs aren't getting a discount. The Yankees aren't getting a discount. Nobody is at this point, even if it's like one of your dream places. And if it is a discount, like, it's a slight one at this point. Everybody's cash will be the same. I've said this before in coming into the offseason. What will surprise me this offseason, if the Cardinals are truly in on a player, and it can be Nola or whoever that player is, what will surprise me is if we hear after he signs with a different team, if he ended up signing with a different team, that the Cardinals were so far off of that number that it wasn't even a conversation. Yeah. That would truly surprise me, because to me, that would be making the same mistake over again.
Yeah. We kind of talked about that yesterday with would they really be in if they're not willing to at least get to a certain point, like a puke point? And, I would, what we were talking about.
I would love to hear, and Derek Gould and John Denton and Katie Wu, the people that cover the Cardinals do a great job, and they've got good sources. But we never quite get the whole picture, obviously, of which players the Cardinals were in on, what other teams were asking for. Like, I would love to know what the exact trade request was from the A's for Sean Murphy.
Yeah.
Like, what were the A's asking the Cardinals? Not what the Braves gave up, and we're trying to compare. What were the A's asking for Sean Murphy, or what were the Blue Jays asking for? Because I think that would be fascinating, because then we can have a real conversation like, hey, you didn't get Sean Murphy, you sons of... Yeah, they wanted Newt, they wanted Donovan, and they wanted McGreevy. Oh, I wouldn't do that. Of course, neither would the Cardinals.
Yeah, it is interesting, right? And again, I don't have all the sources either. And those guys that you mentioned, among others, do such a fantastic job. They have sources, they vet things. But the Murphy deal specifically was one that I heard one name that hinged on it that I didn't see reported as much. So I don't know, like, what is right. But also, I don't think that we should have that information, because
I don't think we should. I just say,
would love it. Because you think about that, like, that's why it's so important to be. No, I get it. It's so important to be able to still maintain relationships as you're going through this. So, like, you might have somebody that you're trying to deal in or maybe not even trying to deal, but you're willing to deal to get something else done to make your ball club better. Well, I don't necessarily need that player knowing that. If it happens, then great. But if it doesn't, I want to act like you're a cold, dead hands guy. You know,
really? You almost traded me to Oakland?
No.
Don't believe everything you hear.
The BT's what? Oakland?
Stop.
That's Vegas.
Let's get you a contract extension, huh? All right, it's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. How would you handle a disgruntled player? We're getting to that next on 101 ESPN.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues lost to the Sharks last night by a final score of 5-1. They will be back in action tomorrow night, taking on the LA Kings. Pregame starts at 8:30. Puck drop is at 9:30. Catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. Thursday night football, the Ravens defeated the Bengals 34-20. Mark Andrews injured. Joe Burrow injured. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. This Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
So Stephon Diggs was asked about his brother's comments about how he should get out of Buffalo.
Yeah, he was tweeting about it during the game. Huh?
Not great.
You know, that's what brothers do. They have
have each other's backs.
I don't have a brother, but I would assume that if he were playing in a game, I would probably be at home watching.
Yeah.
Probably have a couple of pops and then
start tweeting
stuff that probably leaks out private conversations that we have.
Hey, if you don't want that stuff out, you don't say it.
Don't tell me.
Exactly. So following the Bills' 24-22 loss of the Broncos, that was on Monday night, Travion Diggs pleaded for his brother to leave Buffalo on Twitter, writing, "Man, 14, gotta get out of here."
What number is Stephon?
He's 14.
Okay, 14.
Yeah.
Just check and want to make sure you got the right guy. He might be caring about somebody else on that Bills team.
Nope. That would be Stephon Diggs. He doubled down with another post on Tuesday, this time taking a jab at Bills starting quarterback Josh Allen. Let's not forget, he didn't start going off till Bro got there. It's one way to do it. Start pitting, your brother up against the quarterback who gets him the ball. Stephon Diggs, though, yesterday told reporters, "I'm not responsible for how other people feel." And he's absolutely right. Anybody in this room, for this matter, a reporter, a player, even my own brother, I love my brother. In the space that my brother's coming from is my family. So you want to know how he feels, you got to take it up with him. I thought that was an absolutely perfect comment.
Handled it perfectly.
Brad, he's right. He's not responsible for what his brother says or how his brother feels. And we can react to what his brother said. But all we'll be doing is speculating if Stephon Diggs feels that way. Brad, you kind of we're talking about this in the office.
Diggs absolutely feels that way.
Yeah, well, probably. How do you handle a disgruntled player? Like go back to your playing days. And obviously you don't have to name names.
You send him to AAA. That's what Tony always did to me.
Okay. So Brad
looks disgruntled because he's never pitching or not pitching well.
You know where he can pitch? Memphis.
You'll be great there too.
Yeah.
It'll be really good for you.
But Stephon Diggs not going to Memphis.
So it's very evident, Anthony, like in watching, you don't have to have the tweet from him. You don't have to have him talking about it afterwards. But you've watched him this year. You know the frustrations that have been there. Obviously been a lot of frustrations around the team. And it is like, it's such a difficult thing because I don't think that there's one answer. Like you asked me, like, hey, Plan, how do you handle a disgruntled player? Every player is different. Mm-hmm. Some player needs the reassurance. Like, hey, no, you're great. Everything's going to be fine. Others, maybe it's contractually something that ends up being there. Like there are so many different variables that go into it. Yes, like I think the big question is organizationally, and this one is with the Bills. Is he part of the future? Like, do you see yourself winning football games without Diggs? Since he came over, to his brother's point, they've won the division every single year that those two guys have been together. Yeah, this year has been rough, and it hasn't looked the way that anybody expected it to look in Buffalo. They had championship aspirations, and now they find themselves middling and just fired their offensive coordinator. But this is where, like, you have to be part like businessman and part psychologist, trying to figure out these situations. Because I mean, with Diggs, what would you do with him at this point, Anthony? Like I believe he's got like 3 more years on his contract, but I don't think anything's guaranteed after that. I think he's got an $18 million deal for next year, but it's not guaranteed.
This is going to be a very unpopular opinion, but hang with me here. Don't just react to what I'm going to say.
All right,
first.
so I won't even say anything.
Yeah.
I'll let you lay it out.
I would trade him.
Shut the. Are
okay,
you
Brad,
serious?
you know.
What do you mean you would trade him?
You promised, Brad. You promised.
I never said I promise.
I would trade him. It's got nothing to do with the disgruntled part. It has everything to do with how the Bills roster is structured. Teams that decide to build around a QB and a number one wide receiver, save for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Just going to mention the Bengals.
Save for the Bengals.
Minus the quarterback
It
now.
typically doesn't work. Now, if you have Andy Reid, Mahomes, Kelsey, that's a hell of a trio. But at some point, you have to play well defensively, which the Chiefs always have. When they won their Super Bowl midway through the season, when they beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl in 2019, midway through the year, we're all talking about the defense. And if the defense was going to cost the Chiefs an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator, figured things out. He had the 4 pillars going, not the Rams' 4 pillars, the Chiefs' 4 pillars. He's probably not doing it anymore. But he figured it out defensively. They won because their defense got better and because that offensive line came together. Last year in the Super Bowl, I thought one of the reasons why the Eagles were going to win was because that defensive line was going to absolutely eat Kansas City's offensive line whole. Didn't happen. Kansas City's offensive line, stout. Their defense this year, excellence. They traded Tyreek Hill and won a Super Bowl. Teams that are built around like that number one wide receiver typically don't fare well. Your Raiders, Devontae Adams.
Well, they don't have a quarterback, though. You said built on the quarterback and the wide receiver.
Even if they had the QB. What have the Bills won with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs?
It's a division every year.
Right. Cardinals win a lot of divisions.
Which is something, Anthony. Not nothing.
If you don't have your defensive line and your offensive line and your quarterback, it's not going to matter.
Why
You're
can't you
going to get
cake and eat it too, Anthony? Like,
how much money you paying Stephon Diggs?
$18 million.
How much money you paying Devontae Adams? How much you going to pay Justin Jefferson if you're Minnesota?
A lot.
I would trade him, and I would build a roster that actually fits playing in Western New York, which would be physical defense, run game, and Josh Allen doing his thing.
They seem fine when
to throw the football to talented people.
That is true. I feel like they're missing Brian Daboll. Like, they were good when he was there.
Yeah, and that's part of it, right? Brian Daboll, though, midway through the year, his last year, him and McDermott were apparently at odds. So I don't think it's just because Brian Daboll left and went to the Giants that the Bills started to struggle. I think the same thing about the Cardinals last year, if we want to make that comparison. Last year was not a one-off. Last year was several years in the making because of the moves that they made.
Yeah.
Right, wrong, or indifferent. You start to pay for those. The bill comes due at some point. And this Bills roster is not set up to win playoff games in Western New York. It's a thing. But there's a reason why the Baltimore Ravens and Pittsburgh Steelers have always built their roster a certain way. It's because when you have to go to Baltimore and Pittsburgh in January and you get your ass kicked for three quarters, you're done by the fourth. There's a way that to build a roster based on where you're going to be playing playoff games.
Do you think we'd be having this conversation if Josh Allen was a little bit better at not turning the ball over?
That's a huge part of it. And by the way, I'm not blaming Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs is incredible. Anthony, like you have taken your hate for running backs and also added wide receivers. We all know that Anthony never has liked running backs. And now,
especially first-round running backs. Hates them.
Hey,
doesn't want them to get the ball inside the 10-yard line at all.
I'll tell you what. You know what teams do it right? The ones that get the tight end, wide receiver, and running back in the top 10.
For sure.
Those are the ones that win Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Anthony, you know what those are? Those are the ones.
Crap organizations.
That's fantasy football.
Exactly.
I was just thinking,
exactly.
Those are the teams, when you had mentioned that, the teams that are predicated upon their quarterback wide receiver combo. Like that is you doing a fantasy football.
100%.
All right, got to get these linked up. We got a great text in. To the text line 314-399-9646. So the Chargers are a perfect example
Great
of that
point.
Herbert, Allen,
and then you added Quentin Johnson from TCU.
Yeah.
What part of you couldn't run the football in Jacksonville last year to protect a lead tells you that you need another wide receiver. And everybody did the seal clap on draft night. Oh, it's unbelievable. Him and Keenan Allen and Mike Williams,
Staley,
unstoppable. You're 4-5. Stop it.
Yeah, strong 4-5. This one maybe doesn't pertain to the conversation, but I always like good text messages. This one just says Anthony likes the tush push.
Yeah, who doesn't?
So,
right?
Yeah,
seems to work every time.
Didn't pertain to exactly what we were talking about, but I wanted to make sure that we got that in there.
I think everybody does. Don't want to speak for everybody, but I think this is one case.
You don't want to speak for the city of St. Louis, especially.
And this I respectfully disagree, Marshy. MLB free agent contracts, over-unders. We're gonna play a game of
how many the Cardinals get.
Yeah, take the under. That's next on 101 ESPN. Wrestling on 101 ESPN. I think this was an Athletic article, correct? With the contracts?
Yeah, they had one. It was basically the article at The Athletic was kind of talking about the pitching, the need that is out there for teams who might actually be on the outside looking in with all these teams that are looking. But they did have some over-unders that were kind of attached to some of these pitchers out there.
Yes, so
I love over-unders.
We're going to go through these pitchers and throw out the over-unders.
Okay.
And also discuss whether or not
the Cardinals would do it?
Exactly.
And if it would be a good deal?
Yes.
Good idea?
Tier 1.
Okay.
Aaron Nola. 6 years, 180. 6 years, 180.
Do I believe that Aaron Nola is going to get over or under?
Correct.
6 years and 180. Anthony, I don't... I won't do this the entire way.
Okay.
I promise. I think that's the number.
30.
I think that's where it lands.
30 a year, 6 years.
Yeah.
I don't think you get 7. 6 is the number. Yeah, I'm with you.
I think that's where it is. But that's not fair with an over-under game. So you know what, Anthony? I'll pick over. Just barely.
All right, I'll go under.
Really?
And he gets 28 and a half.
Does he?
Instead of 30.
So let's just call it the 6 years, 180 at $30 million a year. Do you think that is a smart contract for the Cardinals to sign Nola for if they could get him for that, which his number might end up eclipsing 200 in this market? It very well could. He's probably
30 years old. There's another contract I would want more, but I don't think that this is a contract that the Cardinals would be afraid of if Nola wanted to pitch here. So I would say yes.
I think it would be a good deal.
This is a number they'd be fine with.
Yeah.
How much are we working with, give or take?
So the estimate, if they were staying around their same as last year, I think was just under like 50 million, call it around 45 million. So that'd be putting a lot of your eggs in the Nola basket.
Sure.
Which is fine if you're going to go that way.
I say this is a number they would be okay with.
Okay.
Yamamoto. 7 years, 203. Now, he's younger than Nola.
He's 25 years old.
So he's 5 years younger than Nola.
Won the Cy Young equivalent 3 years straight.
But obviously doesn't have big league experience. So you're taking on that risk.
He's going to get over that, Anthony.
I think so, too.
I think he's going to get over that because of his age and because of the markets that are going to be in play for him. I know that we had talked the other day about Stanton and his agent's comments about Yamamoto. Not specifically about Yamamoto, but it was about Giancarlo, and he also represents Yamamoto. I still feel like he'll probably land in one of these big markets. They'll be in a bidding war for him, and I think he'll eclipse the 7 years, 203 million, which is crazy.
I do as well.
For a guy that you haven't seen at this level.
I think he gets between 30 and 35. But he also gets the 7.
Yep, I'm with you.
Blake Snell, 5 for 135. Oh, and I don't think the Cardinals will do it.
For Yamamoto?
Actually, I do.
I think they would be there. I just don't know if he would pick you. Now, he's BFFs with Newt, so that's not nothing. As Marshy mentioned earlier, a picture, very legit picture.
Went to Emos.
Of them at Emos.
And they went to Arby's. I saw another one.
Why Arby's? Why not Lion's Choice?
That's a great point. Whoever was taking the photo, I don't know. I can't speak for him.
Yeah, so don't.
Lion's Choice, though. Oh, man.
Have we seen a picture of he and Ohtani and Yamamoto at the zoo yet?
No, but that's probably their next destination.
If the internet could get a little busy on that,
Yeah.
I think that I would appreciate that. What other places in St. Louis would you like to see that threesome?
Definitely Ted Drew's.
Ted Drew's,
Yeah, that's a good call. The Hill.
The observation wheel.
Oh.
See him in that thing?
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty good.
What about the arch?
Classic. Yeah.
Inside or below the arch? Or maybe even on top,
That's safety first.
people
I
are
wouldn't
crazy.
go on top of the
You know
arch.
where I'd really like to see both of them?
In Busch Stadium?
That's great. Blake Snell, 5 years, 135. I think he gets 6 years.
I think that he is going to get pushed to that 6 year too.
So I say over.
I agree with you on that one. Like this, we are going to say, and this just kind of echoes something I said earlier in the show. When free agency is over with, we will be saying, man, that guy's not worth that much money.
Right.
You're worth what the market gives you.
That's correct.
At this point.
Tier 2, Jordan Montgomery, 5 years, 105.
I think he blows
He's going to go
away.
over.
I think he blows that away.
21 a year. There's no chance. I think he gets 25 a year.
It's funny because I think Monty came into the year and he was going to be looking at a deal that probably would have guaranteed him around 75 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had the season that he had, and he gets traded and has the postseason that he had, and all of a sudden he's looked at legitimately as an ace type. And I think he blows away 105 million.
Yeah.
And good for him.
Let's do part 2 of this a little bit later on in the show.
Okay.
So we got to get to the Gauntlet Playoffs. People are ready. People are chomping at the bit.
How have you guys been doing?
I haven't played yet.
So good, huh?
Whoa.
No, I'm just saying, is everybody scared of you?
No, they've just been choosing the category, and the wheel has chosen Marsh every time but once.
Is that wheel weighted?
Or BT, did you play once?
Not during this time.
Okay.
Not during the playoffs.
Jamie's gone twice. Carrie has gone once, and then I have been the other person to go. We are 3-5 right now.
You guys suck.
No, we're not. We're 3-5.
3-5. I mean, these are the Gauntlet champions, Anthony.
Still, we got to pick up our game. Okay, so we got another Gauntlet champion next, and it's Chad. So Chad will face either me, Marsh, or BT next on 101 ESPN.
one challenger. Can you master the gauntlet?
Brought to you by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit masstour.com.
4:02, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Andrew Marsh and Brad Thompson. I'm Anthony Stalter, and we welcome in Chad. He's our latest Gauntlet champion playing in the playoffs. First round for Chad. What's up, Chad?
What's up, boys?
All right, so remind us, who'd you beat to claim your Gauntlet trophy?
Oh, you already know. It was Jamie called in from Mexico.
Oh, he was ham sauce.
drunk.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Probably.
All right. No, he was. I think he admitted it.
He was, but I might have had an advantage there. But
Win's a win.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Chad, I don't know if you've been listening or not, but I'll explain the playoff rules to you.
Explain it for Chad. He's the only one that probably doesn't know.
Yeah, Brad, you kind of listen too, buddy. So,
okay, Brad.
Chad, you're going to have an opportunity to either take your opponent, so choose your opponent, or you can choose your category. You got to, if you advance, you got to stick with the opponent or category option, though. Okay, so no changing after this. So this is kind of a big moment for you. If you choose your category, the wheel will choose the opponent, and vice versa. So without further ado, would you like to choose your opponent or category?
Well, I was going to choose Jamie just because he tuned in from Mexico to take me on when I won the Gauntlet previously. But I think let's do Brad Thompson.
Okay, so you're going to take on
Chad.
BT and let the wheel decide the category.
Okay.
All right.
Chad, best of luck.
And there. Thank you.
Best of luck. Just for reference, I am not drunk.
No.
Yet.
Yeah, it is a Friday. Brad's only human.
He's got a Y in it.
You're not? Or-
I'm out of here.
All right, so BT's going to make his way into the cone of silence. What's up, Chad?
No.
Okay, all right, go ahead. Tell Marsh to spin the wheel.
Spin that wheel, Marshy.
This is the first time that a Gauntlet champion is chosen. Second.
Our first contestant, Tim, he chose me.
Gotcha. Okay. Chad, how do you feel about random?
Yeah, I'll take it.
All right. Random it is. The wheel usually chooses like hockey. Well, it depends on who's playing.
Hockey's. Yeah.
All right, Chad. 4 questions to you. 4 questions to BT. Every question's worth 2 points unless you ask for the options. If you ask for the options, the question is worth 1 point.
Yep.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Question 1. What actress received her big break by appearing in Bruce Springsteen's music video for Dancing in the Dark?
I have no fucking... I have no idea. Can you give me the options, please?
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Julia Roberts, Courtney Cox, Molly Ringwald.
I'm going to go with Molly Ringwald. Final answer.
Question number 2. Name the author of the classic children's book, Charlotte's Web.
Ooh. I know this book, too. I'm sorry. Give me the option.
Options are E.B. White, Beverly Cleary, A.A. Milne.
Beverly Cleary.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Question 3, Chad. What are the 2 primary colors on the Japanese flag?
I'm going to take the options again.
Red and yellow, green and black, white and red.
I'll take white and red. Final answer.
And question number 4. Who's the main character of the movie The Nightmare Before Christmas?
Jack. Is that enough?
No,
we need another name. A last name.
Jack Christmas.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, that's the final answer. I know that's not right, but...
All right. We'll welcome back BT from the Cone of Silence. Chad, how you feeling?
Not great.
Okay. All right. Well, BT's been, I think, pretty good in the Gauntlet, but this is the playoffs, so We'll see how BT is.
Hey, it's great to have BT back here. So
No doubt.
Good.
Yeah, no doubt. Chad said it's great that you're back.
Yes. It's excited
good
to be
to
here.
hear
No
you.
doubt.
I didn't get lost on the way here. Anthony, we had Marshy, we had a great lunch today.
And we'll drop the F-bomb on live radio.
You
so.
did, yeah, you did. Marsh fortunately got it though.
You did?
What the
Wait, no, I didn't do the full F-bomb. It was I cut it off.
The YouTube friends there, Lions team heard it. We hit the dump button.
That one gets us in some trouble.
Have you had one of those, Anthony? Have you cursed on air?
No. I don't think I had. I did dump myself for
you.
Something one time because I think it was close,
Okay.
but no, I never have.
Yeah,
Have you?
I had one.
You had
yeah,
one?
when I was with Randy and
I
DeMarco.
just remembered to answer the fourth question, so I know I didn't get that right. Let's go.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
PC?
Yeah, I'm going to
All
try
right,
not
here we
to
go. All
pull a
right.
Chad.
No, you're good. Question one. What actress received her big break by appearing in...
So is it random?
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, random. I forgot you didn't know. Yes, random.
Okay.
Yeah. What actress received her big break by appearing in Bruce Springsteen's music video for Dancing in the Dark?
Oh, you know what? We were talking about The Boss earlier. I got to tell you, I don't know any of his songs. I'll take the options.
Julia Roberts, Courtney Cox, Molly Ringwald.
Oh. Julia Roberts, Molly Ringwald. Or who's the other one?
Julia Roberts, Courtney Cox, Molly Ringwald.
Cox. Before she got hard-headed. Dance with Bruce Springsteen. Who would look like she would dance there? I think that is a total Julia Roberts move. That's who that is. That's final answer right there. Everybody knows that.
Absolutely. From question number 2, name the author of the classic children's book, Charlotte's Web.
Oh, this is going to tick me off. Not R.L. Stein. That'd be Goosebumps. Charlotte's Web. E.B. White? Oh, no. R.F. Are you going to the mall later? Why does E.B. White sound right to me? I can't just say it. Give me the options.
All right, your options are E.B. White.
Son of
Beverly Cleary.
E.B.
A.
White.
Milne.
Aaron.
Not Milne. Thank you,
No,
the
it's
636.
E.B. White. Final answer. Dang it.
R.L. Chalk. All right. Question 3, Brad. What are the 2 primary colors on the Japanese flag?
Primary. So you actually... Wait.
What are the 2 primary colors on the Japanese flag?
Just the 2 main colors?
Yeah.
Or are you actually looking for primary colors?
No. Like, what are the 2 main colors?
Red and white. Final answer.
Question number 4, who's the main character of the movie The Nightmare Before Christmas?
The Nightmare Before Christmas. Jack Skellington.
Final answer?
Yeah.
All right, let's go over these. BT versus Chad in random. What actress received her big break by appearing in Bruce Springsteen's music video for Dancing in the Dark? Chad, with the options, you said Molly Ringwald. BT, with the options, you said, no, that's definitely Julia Roberts.
Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that. Everybody also knows it is...
Actually, Courtney Cox.
Courtney Cox.
Yeah. She was in the front row. Did you ever see that video? She's dancing.
So everybody loves like Bruce Springsteen. He's probably fantastic. I just never got into
the Boss. I felt like he was a little bit before us, BT.
I know like Bernie's a big...
He
huge,
loves... Yeah. I think everybody in that kind of generation there, they love him.
Yeah.
But I did remember the Courtney Cox video.
So it must have been good.
Certainly. Yeah.
Okay.
Can't remember the song.
She's underrated.
Yeah. 0-0, though, Brad. 0-0. Focus. Name the author of the classic children's book, Charlotte's Web. Chad, with the options, you went Beverly Cleary. BT, with the options, you went E.B. White. Correct answer is...
Well, it's Beverly Cleary, E.B. White. Clearly.
It's E.B. White. Yeah,
it's E.B.
White.
White.
It's E.B. White. Yep. So Brad's got a 1-0 lead over
angry.
Chad. That's okay. It's okay.
Seeing the book.
You had it.
Spider right in the corner.
I understand what you were doing, though. You're like, listen, I got to make sure that this is correct. That's why you asked for the options.
Well, let's hope it doesn't come back to bite you, though.
Yeah.
What are the two main colors on the Japanese flag? Chad, you said white and red. BT, you said white and red. Correct answer is?
It is white and red.
But BT did not need the options for that one, so he's got a 3-1 lead over Chad. Who's the main character of the movie The Nightmare Before Christmas? BT, you said Jack Skellington. Chad, you said Jack Christmas. If it's Jack Christmas...
I know where the F came from.
If it's Jack Christmas, we've got ourselves a walk-off. If it's Jack Skellington or literally any other name, BT wins. Chad.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose.
It was Jack Skellington. Chad, I felt like you were disappointed in yourself for not remembering it, and then you're like, screw it. Jack Christmas. So, but BT got you today. BT put up a pretty good 5 spot. So he was on his game today. Sorry, Chad.
Chad is no longer on the...
it says he got disconnected. Chad, I hope you have a great Jack Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Poor Chad. I feel like he kind of messed himself up after he dropped the curse.
Well,
word.
that'll fluster you a little bit.
I think he got flustered. I feel bad for him because I think he felt bad.
But it was the last question.
It wasn't.
No, it was the first.
Oh, it was the first question?
It was the first question. He
We
goes,
went backwards?
He goes, I have no idea.
I didn't either, so that's kind of how I felt, too.
He was beating himself up for not remembering the fourth, but the F-bomb came early.
Yeah, that threw you off your game.
I think it threw him
Adapt
off.
and adjust. I think Chad's going to be better for this.
Yeah, I think so, too. Either way.
Yeah,
Chad's been eliminated.
both contestants that have chosen to take on one of us instead of choosing their own category have lost.
Wow. It's a good nugget there. It's a good trend. 2-0, Brad.
I think that, like, personally, if I were in charge of this, I think that I would want to pick my category.
Me too. Definitely.
I think I'd want to go that direction.
Right there with you.
Because if I landed on hockey.
Oh, yeah.
We have one more contestant for the first round.
So on Monday, it'll
Aaron
be the last first round contestants, and then we start the second round.
Yep.
It's been thrilling thus far, these Gauntlet Playoffs. All right. Why don't we do part 2 of the Cardinals over-under contracts? So Tier 2 started off with Jordan Montgomery, but we have, I think, 3 other names. So 3 other names for Tier 2.
And I do think that as we're talking about Tier 2, Tier 3, I don't know if we'll get to Tier 4.
Mm-hmm.
I think these might be the tiers that you might be shopping in.
I'd be fine with it.
Not because you're not going to be looking out there putting out bids in Tier 1, but you might be left with Tier 2, and you might be able to get 2 of them.
I don't hate that idea.
I don't either.
Maybe we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Next, I want to win ESPN. So we're going through these MLB free agent contract over-unders, and it's projections for the free agent pitchers based on what they could receive at the market, and it's all from The Athletic. So we went through Tier 1, which was Nola, Yamamoto, Snell. You have to download the podcast, available after the show if you want to hear our kind of breakdowns on that. But Tier 2 started with Jordan Montgomery, who we did discuss, and 5 for 105. Brad, we both agreed that was too short.
Yeah, I think that he'll get over that. He'll either get the 6th year or get a higher AAV with the way that he finished things off.
I could see a 5-year 125.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that for sure.
I think that's the top end.
Yeah, 25 a year.
Yep.
I mean, talk about a change in a season, right?
Yeah.
Where you go in, I mean, he's going to darn near double the estimated money that he was going to bring in having a strong platform year.
Yep.
It's amazing how free agency works, isn't it?
Kidding.
In a buyer's market.
Sonny Gray, 3 years, 72. You may think to yourself, well, 24 a year, that's too high. Take the under. But the key is that teams are going to be more willing to pay a little bit more if you're willing to take a little bit less on the term. So 3 years at 72 seems a little high. I think I'd still go under, but I could see it being like a 3 for 70.
So I don't think that I'm taking the over, actually. I don't think that Sonny Gray will, even with the market being what it is. Sonny's 34 years old. Mm-hmm. I don't see him getting more than a 3-year deal, but I do think that you might see
3 for 80 or something.
I could see the 75.
Okay.
I could see that happening for him and being right around that same, maybe a little bit under. Maybe it is that 72, 73. But I'm going to take the over with Gray because I think somebody will pony up the extra cash to not give that extra year that you're talking about.
Okay, fair.
And that's somebody I would like to be the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm with you. Eduardo Rodriguez, 5 years, $80 million.
So what did he have left on his deal? Do you remember? I think he had like $40 million left on it, something like that. The deal that he ended up opting out of in Detroit. I think that 5 and 80 is close, but with the market the way that it is, the only problem with him, I mean, he had some off-field stuff that teams might be a little bit concerned about bringing him in, but for him, I'm going to take the over slightly. I think he's going to get 5 for 85.
He left 18 on the table for next year. It looks like 16 for 2025 and then 15 for 2026.
So $51 million over 3 years.
Yeah, boy, he left a lot on the table there.
Yeah. So that kind of tells you where, what direction he and his agent believe that he'll be able to make. So
fair.
Over it is.
Yeah. You mentioned this before. I actually think it's a really good number, but since we're taking over-unders, I'll take over. All right, then Stroman's the final Tier 2 guy, 3 years, 63. So we're looking at 21 a year. I think he gets over that.
He just opted out of a deal that he had 2 more years left at, I believe, right over 23 or maybe 23.5. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I understand the 3rd year, but I think that he probably gets more than that, and he probably ended up getting another year. So we'll take his total value over that. I believe that Stroman will get more than the 3 years.
Out of all of them, I think this is the best over.
You think so?
Out of all the pitchers that we mentioned, I think he's the best over. 3 for 63. I think it's too
Would
low
you want to bring in Stroman if you're the Cardinals?
So now let's expand the conversation. Because BT, you had mentioned something to me in the break. You said, if the Cardinals don't wind up getting one of the Tier 1 guys, but they get 2 of the Tier 2 guys, would you be okay with that?
Yeah, even Tier 3.
Yeah.
We haven't got to Tier 3 yet, but let's just say, and maybe I could be wrong on this, but all of your money for one ace, and let's just call the ace Nola for this, but then you don't have enough to bring in another. You'd bring in a comp of kind of what you have, a back-end starter. So Nola and then a back-end starter that you bring in from outside the organization. Again, this is via free agency.
Yeah.
Because if you went out and spent your money on Nola and then made a trade for Dylan Cease or a trade for Tyler Glasnow, we're talking about 2 different things. We're just talking about free agent money right now being spent. Would it be better to spend it all on Nola, or would it be better to spend it on Gray/Giolito or Gray Stroman, or a combination of those guys that are going to be like 2-3 in your rotation?
I think a Gray, Stroman, Maeda would be a really
Kenta Maeda
would
flyer.
be a
Look
really
at you.
good. When he got back from injury last year, he was excellent.
Okay.
And it's a 1 year, based on the Athletics projections, it'd be a one year for
How
10
old
mil.
is he? I mean, Kenta Maeda's
he's
not a
34,
young man.
35.
Is he really?
We're talking about 1 year.
I thought he was like 100.
No, he's not 100, Brad. If he's 100, that's an incredible pitcher. Gray, like a Gray, Stroman, Maeda, I think that's a pretty good offseason. Now it's not Nola or Yamamoto.
It's not flashy.
I get
not
it.
as flashy.
But to your point, if it's a Nola, you might be looking at a Nola, a Clevenger, and then an internal option.
Let me, and I know we're playing the over-under game, but let me shift the conversation just for a brief second.
Shift it.
Do you believe that the Cardinals will get their most impactful starter via free agency or via trade?
I think they're going to get the most impactful impactful pitcher via free agency.
I believe that they'll get it via trade.
Really?
I do.
The reason I'm interested to hear why you think that. For me, I don't think Mo is going to be comfortable giving up what it's going to take to get an impactful pitcher.
I think that he isn't going to have the chance not to, or won't have the flexibility not to go get that guy. Because I still think that tier one that we're talking about, that Nola, Yamamoto, Snell, we've talked about this plenty. We'll continue to talk about it until they sign. There are other options that they all have that might look better, whether it is, again, I don't think it's financially it looks better. It's just maybe it's a market that they want to play in. Maybe it is a team that they believe is closer to a championship, which I hope means something to all of those guys. Boy, I hope that means something to anybody that I'm going to spend that kind of money on, that they want to go out and win. So I think that you're going to find yourself in a situation where you're shopping on a little bit different list. Now, Sonny Gray is still a really good pitcher. What a year he had last year. The start to the season was ridiculous for Sonny Gray. But if you sign Sonny Gray, we'll say that's your top free agent. It's a good one. It's a very good one. Would love to be able to bring him in. And then you brought in Dylan Cease, knowing what his top end could be. Do you think that Cease could be more talented than Gray? Certainly a younger version. He's 28.
Yeah.
So I could see that sort of thing happening.
That would be outstanding.
Be a really good offseason. And imagine, right? So imagine if it did happen. Imagine Nola goes off the boards. He goes back to Philly. Yamamoto, he ends up going to, let's just say he goes to the Yankees. They pony up big time money. Snell, where do you want to put Snell? He goes to the Giants.
I was going to say...
You're a Bay Area guy.
Yamamoto to the Giants.
Well, were you?
Snell to the Yankees.
Okay, let's flip-flop. Okay, those three are off the market. Our text line is, Mo is terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, the wallets, blah, blah, blah. You sign Sonny Gray. You get him on a 3-year deal that is manageable. We'll call it $20 to $25 million a year, somewhere in there. And then the offseason is a little bit slow for a minute. Everybody's mad. You didn't get the top end. And then you make a deal for a Cease, or you make a deal for a Glass now. All of a sudden, you look at it and say, I could see that.
What are you giving up?
Oh, you're giving up something painful. The one name that I continue to come back on a painful trade, and this is not me wanting to trade this guy. It hurts you. Yes, Gorman. Yeah. Because everybody's looking for a left-handed thumb.
Right.
And you have a lot of
I don't want to give him up.
Not with the high end that he has. But that's the thing with any of these trades. You don't want to give up good pieces. You want to be the team that fleeces everybody.
But I do want to give up something that I have an abundance of, which is infielders that can play the outfield.
Yeah. Yes, Anthony. That's exactly
got a
what
lot of those guys.
You're looking to deal. But the hard part is the Cardinals are in a position right now. You'd love to be able to make those trades where you're trading off a piece from an area of strength, right? So whether it be a middle infielder or an outfielder, and you trade it for a high upside pitcher, and Alek Manoah is a name that continues to come to mind. I'd be very interested in bringing a guy like that in off of a horrible season that he had. I'd love to be able to bring him in, see what that looks like. But I don't think that they're not at the point right now where they can just do that and that's your trade.
Right.
Because you need known quantities.
Yeah, you did the risk.
Yes,
you did the risk thing last year.
You've got those guys. And
Through
you
like 2 years.
you have depth right now.
Yeah.
You've got Liberatore. He's depth. You've got Thompson is depth. Currently, you have Dakota Hudson. We'll see. He is depth.
Yeah, Mark Feinsand, perfect time to mention this. Mark Feinsand tweeted out about an hour ago, the Cardinals are shopping Dakota Hudson pretty hard today per source, meaning he could be a non-tender candidate if he's not moved. I could see that. I don't think... To me, Dakota Hudson is fine depth, but you've got a ton of depth.
And this is with all due respect to Dakota Hudson, and I've been a big Dakota fan. And really, if you didn't hear the name Dakota Hudson and you just went and looked at the overall numbers, and like the strikeouts are not going to be high, the walks are going to be high, but just look at the ERA. Is that the dude has won? Like he's done good things for you, but if Dakota is in your rotation next year at the beginning of the season, like, you got some problems.
You got some problems, certainly. Well said. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We're going to play a fun game. In fact, we've never done it before. Guess the texter.
How do you play that?
Well, you're going to find out. Next on 101 ESPN.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues lost 5-1 last night in San Jose. Once again, the Blues lost 5-1 against Anthony's Sharks. They'll be back in action tomorrow night, taking on the LA Kings. Pregame starts at 8:30. Puck drop is at 9:30. We talked some Blues hockey earlier today. If you missed that, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Coming up next, we have Guess the Texter. We have a ton of listeners that text in, whether it's great information, could just be goofy stuff. Regardless, we're going to need your help to decide which texter texted in these certain things. That's coming up next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Like Marsh just said in the Sports Center update, we're going to do Guess the Texter.
So, I mean, break this down for me, Anthony. How's this working?
Marsh is going to read a statement from a texter.
Okay.
You and I have to guess which texter it is.
All right, can you give us our pool then?
Yes.
Who are we pulling from?
I was going to ask the same question. What are our options here?
So write this down.
Okay.
Write this down, Dan.
The infamous 618.
Okay, this should be easy.
We have Jamie's Vacation Speedo.
That is a texture.
Yes. We have Thanks Dad. We have Lisa.
Okay.
We have FedEx Brian. And we have Janet.
Okay.
Janet maybe.
Wait, so we're not sure if it's Janet?
There was a picture sent from this phone number.
Okay.
That said, hey, it's Janet. Here's a photo. So I put Janet maybe. I think it is Janet, though.
Okay.
All right,
and by the way, real quick, Anthony, sorry, if you want to be involved in this, because maybe this ends up being a great thing.
Yeah.
And you think, man, I text a lot. Why can't I be a part of this? We need to know your name. Or we need to give you a nickname or something. So if you believe that you text into this show a lot, give us your name or nickname that you want to be. Maybe we'll put it into the old machine here. When I say we, I mean Marshy, because I don't know how to do that.
No.
But then next week, we got more people, you know?
And
build a rapport.
I know we have other texters that, chime in a lot, like BT talking about, like James. Our guy James usually leaves a mic drop so we can hear his sultry voice.
Golden pipes.
Absolutely. So there's 6, right, Marsh?
There is, yes, I believe there's 6.
618, Jamie's Vacation Speedo.
Yes.
Thanks, Dad. Lisa, FedEx Brian, Janet. Okay. All right.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Now, are we only doing one?
We'll do one at a time. We'll see if you can guess it right. And then
here we go.
At the end of it, I will tell you which ones.
Oh, okay.
Yes. All right. Are correct. Let's start off with, and this is not just from our show. I went back and looked at different shows, too.
Okay.
So I'm going to start off with this one. Brandon, for the love of God, would you please stop trying to trade Gorman? I will trade Arenado before I will trade Gorman.
Okay. Trade Arenado before Gorman. I don't think that's the 618. There's too many names. Like he doesn't detail names. Unless it's Mo. Are we
going to tag team this?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I think this could be Elisa.
See, I don't think it's Lisa because Lisa was like really hard on Gorman early on. You remember that? Like she was like wasn't clutch. Which hell, that could have been anybody. But
I could see it. I could see a FedEx Brian then.
I don't know enough about Jamie's Vacation Speedo. Seems like pretty loose, but that doesn't sound like a thanks dad either. And to me, that is just thanks dad is.
Janet uses, I don't think so either. Janet uses names.
Does she?
Yeah, because maybe Marcy's giving us a clue here with Brandon. Because she'll
Brandon.
say, Anthony, nobody cares what you have to say.
Let's go Janet on this one.
Yeah, all right. Janet.
All right, the next one.
Oh, we don't get to know until the end?
Oh, I like this suspension.
I'm not telling you till the end.
All right.
Here's the next one. Cardinals would be first to write a price in a silent auction, so they would get outbid, but can say they tried. I'll read that one more time.
All right.
Cardinals would be the first to write a price in a silent auction first, so they get outbid but can say they tried.
Oh, that's 6-1 hate.
No.
Not hateful
It's not
enough?
hateful enough. No. We'll know when it's there will be no doubt that it'll be the 6-1 hate. I don't think it's Thanks Dad. I don't think it's Lisa. I think it's either FedEx Brian or Jamie's Vacation Speedo.
Are you? I trust you. You're the one that's here all the time.
I'm going to say FedEx Brian on that one.
FedEx
Let's
Brian.
say FedEx Brian.
All right.
This is fun. I don't know how we're doing, but this is fun.
Here's the next one. The only thing hotter than the Blues is Jamie Rivers in a Speedo.
That'd be Jamie's Vacation
Speedo.
Finally, we needed a layup. Like the first couple ones have been a little bit difficult.
Okay. All right.
I appreciate that.
All right, here's the next one. Must be nice to have radio money to go to Raider
618.
Bose.
That's from the 618. Yep.
The must be nice.
The must be nice. The money he talks about.
Go ahead and finish it.
Must be nice to have radio money to go to Raider Bose.
Yeah.
We were talking about the inflation and how stuff is expensive.
Yeah.
I mentioned a store, not by name.
Right.
Maybe I called it Raider Bose.
Yeah.
I wanted to get some bread.
If you guys need another one because you can't come up with an answer, I mean, too bad DeWitt needs to go on welfare.
Oh, it's the 618.
Yeah, that's the 618. So the money, the 618 is kind of underrated with talking about how much money we make. He has no idea, of course, but he just assumes that like he sent me a tweet one time that said, I don't make 6 figures like you. Brad, I laughed for a week.
Anthony,
I laughed for an entire week thinking that this dude thought that I'm making anywhere close to 6 figures.
I do think that there is that common thought of like, you're on the radio, you talk every day, you probably make blank you money.
Yeah.
Because I thought that. And then I
started working in radio.
Well, then I got like my first contract. Right? What? Sure.
Is this part-time?
All right. We're going to do it. Babe, I'm doing this. Keep that master's degree handy.
Please.
Yeah. All right.
Anyways.
So, okay, well, I think we got that one. We got one.
All right, one more here. Brad, we need Chris Carpenter back here.
Brad, we need Chris. That's Lisa.
Could be Lisa.
That's Lisa.
All right, yeah, Lisa.
Yeah.
Yep.
And by the way, wholeheartedly agree. The fact that Chris Carpenter is not with the organization that needs to be fixed at some point. He works for the Angels, by the way, if people don't know that. Yeah.
He's an angel?
He's an angel now.
Oh, man.
Chris Carpenter.
Chris Carpenter.
All right, that's all of them. You guys ready for the answers?
Okay.
We didn't
All
do
right.
6. We only did 5.
Did we do 5?
Yeah. Because we
He must be out of content.
We don't have one for Thanks Dad.
Oh, yeah, there's one more. Here we go. Here's the deal. Baseball players wanted to come here when the Cardinals were a great winning organization. But who wants to come to a loser in the Midwest?
Oh, no. That doesn't sound like Thanks Dad. And Thanks Dad is the one we've got left.
Man, I really wish there was one. I know he wasn't one of the options about giving someone Tommy John. That'd have been Cottleville Chris.
Right. Oh, no.
And you already picked FedEx Brian?
Yeah. Oh, man.
I guess you got. I mean,
The silent auction one was probably Thanks Dad, and this is FedEx Brian.
Then switch them.
Okay, let's. Brad and I would formally like to switch. The one about the silent auction is Thanks Dad, and this past one is FedEx Brian.
All right, let's go over these
How
gentlemen.
did we do? By the way, and thank you all for all of your texts all the time and being a part of the show.
We couldn't do something like this without you.
Need more of them. And honestly, like I feel like next time we do this too, we'll have more names that we can dig from, and then like deeper issues that we can actually dig into. You know, like the DeWitt's going on welfare. I mean, we can talk about the logistics around that.
No doubt.
Maybe. You know, he owns a bunch of Arby's. Found that out.
just found that out
The text line helped us out. Yeah,
That's why Newton
We have the meat.
and Yamamoto and Shohei, they're all at Arby's.
It's incredible.
All right, let's start backwards. We'll start with the last one. Here's the deal. Baseball players wanted to come here when the Cardinals were a great winning organization, but who wants to come to a loser in the Midwest? You guys said that was FedEx Brian. That one is Janet.
Oh, wow.
Tell you what, man, things get lost when you can't hear her voice and the passion in it.
Okay.
Now, read that as Janet, if you don't mind.
Here's the deal.
I can't do it. It's disrespectful. There's only one Janet.
We're 0 for 1.
All right. Next one up. Brad, we need Chris Carpenter back here. You guys said it was Lisa.
That's Lisa.
You're correct.
Nice.
Yeah, Lisa.
1 for 2. All right.
Must be nice to have radio money to go with to go to Raider Bose.
2 for 3.
Yep. 6-1 hate. The next one. The only thing hotter than the Blues is Jamie Rivers in a Speedo. That's obviously, well, Jamie's vacation Speedo.
That would have been a really big twist had that not been Jamie's vacation Speedo tweeting that in.
So 3 for 4.
Texting that in.
Cardinals would be the first to write a price in a silent auction so they get outbid but can say they tried.
I do that every trivia night I go to.
Do you?
Let me get in on this and never check it again.
That is thanks, Dad.
Okay, so your switch worked.
Oh, it
The
did?
switch worked.
Oh, nice.
Good switch,
all right.
Anthony.
Good. That helped us.
And then we have Brandon. For the love of God, would you please stop trying to trade Gorman? I will trade Arenado before I will trade Gorman. That is FedEx Brian.
So initially we did say we thought FedEx Brian or Janet on that. So not bad. Not bad at
And
all.
I thought Lisa on that one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, so I think that we're getting to know some of these better. I think that, this is good.
4 for 6. Not too bad there.
Hey, how about this one? They may be at Arby's, but they won't be at Bush thanks to the DeWitt going on welfare.
618.
Yep. That's right in his
Which I appreciate.
MO.
The passion.
Yeah, no
okay?
Yeah,
Because, again, 618 texts in quite a bit. 61, what'd you call him earlier?
6-1 great.
6-1 great. Text in a lot. I don't have too many things in my life that I am as passionate about as he is when it comes to the Cardinals and their spending and the go big or go home. Like, I just don't have anything in my life that like riles me up like that. And in all seriousness, a little bit jealous about it. And I don't think I'd be good if I had that because I got some anger issues anyhow.
Well, Brad, if I may, I feel as though your passion is actually when people tick you off.
What do you mean? You think I enjoy that?
I don't think you enjoy it, but I do think the rage that comes with it, I think that's when you feel most alive.
So I got to tell you, not like comments, but like things that happen, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's getting cut off in traffic.
Sure.
Or maybe it's just like, whatever it is. That rush of blood that goes through you where you want to kill somebody, maybe. Not kill somebody, but you're feeling it.
Damn close.
I love that so much. I don't know why. I have no idea why I love
Because you feel
that feeling.
alive.
I feel alive.
The adrenaline kicks in, the anger kicks in, you feel alive.
Yeah, I
I
start
know
getting
you,
dialed
Brad.
in. What's
Yeah.
that? What's that? Oh, the head cock a little
Really?
bit? Oh, is that right? You've seen it.
Don't break your face. All right, let's do what's trending next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Hey, if you're looking at a house or you are worried about where the rates are going and you're looking at a new house, Stewie's got to be your guy. Stewie is phenomenal when it comes to understanding where the rates are, where the interest rates could be going in a couple of months. And if you're somebody, too, that is worried about the rates and you're worried about even doing anything at this point and securing a loan because you don't know where the rates are going to be in a couple of years, ask Stewie about his new program. When you give him a call or text him at 314-324-4440. You can always Google the Bagel Loan as well and find that number there. But when he's got programs like this to help save you money. For example, that bagel loan that I just mentioned. If you're borrowing $200,000 or more, no closing cost, no lender fees. He bakes that into he does a great job of eliminating those so that you can feel great about saving money right out of the gates. So you can look more attractive to sellers. You can also put a little money aside, save that money. Maybe you want to do some renovations. Either way, call Stewie if you have questions, if you're just trying to get a handle on some of your finances, debt consolidation even. Talk to Stewie. He's going to help you out. Again, that number, 314-324-4440, or you can always Google the Bagel Loan.
NMLS number 226715.
What's trending in the world of sports? The Fast Lane has you covered. What's trending now?
Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate to Goodwill to win a magical Polar Express staycation.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. Anthony Stalter, Brad Thompson. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Guys, we know Joe Burrow will be out for the remainder of the season. Diana Rossini tweeted out earlier today the NFL is looking into why Joe Burrow wasn't on the injury report for the Bengals this past week. Per sources, the investigation starts today. They will be looking at photos, practice video, and speaking to people with the organization to decide if there was any wrongdoing.
I mean, this is who cares? If you're the Bengals, you just lost your franchise starting quarterback, the guy.
Good luck on your investigation.
Yeah, tell us what you find. At this point, do you think you're going to harm the Bengals any more than they're already harmed with these injuries?
So here's the bigger question. They're going to do this because this is predicated upon gambling, right, Anthony?
Yes.
Like the reason they're looking into this injury.
Yep.
I believe he did.
In competition.
He did participate, though, fully in practice all week long.
Right.
So from there, like he was wearing the little, as he was getting off or walking into the stadium, he did have the brace on his hand. It showed like the little, strengthening. Mm-hmm. Guys wear stuff like that all the time, by the way, whether it's your wrist, knees, ankles, whatever. at what level do we need to know things? Like, we live in a world where we believe we need to know everything.
Oh, we're
like,
entitled to
absolutely everything. Well,
Yeah.
we should know. No, we shouldn't. Like, not if he practiced all week. He did not look like the wrist was bothering him in the first couple of drives.
They were winning when he came out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it sucks. It sucks for him. It sucks for the organization, football overall. Like, I think when Joe Burrow's out there, you want to be watching.
Definitely.
To me, this investigation is silly.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Devastating blow for Cincinnati. I mean, this is 2 starting quarterbacks now that have been lost for the year. Kirk Cousins, well, probably 3 if the Jets are done. We won't see Aaron Rodgers again. If they stay competitive, maybe we will. But for all intents and purposes, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow, and Kirk Cousins.
What about Deshaun Watson?
Oh, yeah, and Deshaun Watson.
Can't leave him out.
You're right, Marsh. I can't leave him out. He was playing very below average when he exited.
Derek Carr's injured, too.
Oh, yeah.
Derek
You got a lot of quarterbacks that are hurt. And Jimmy G benched.
Hurts.
And
Raiders
Desmond
fans.
Ridder benched for maybe a second. He's probably going to be back.
I don't think he counts.
Where are all the stars at when it comes to quarterbacks right now?
Kansas City.
Like, you're
Baltimore.
You're gonna in
Philly.
like 3 more guys. You're gonna get to Tua.
Well, according
LA?
to Brad, he...
Really?
Herbert?
Oh, Herbie Hancock, maybe.
How long does Tua have left?
Oh, I forget.
On your timeline.
I forget what I put him at,
come
but
on.
I think that he's actually gotten past it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought his eggs would be scrambled by now.
Brad, that's not nice.
Oh, I'm sorry. Guy had 4 concussions last year.
Yeah, but
that we know of.
That's a
now he's out
serious-
there making it rain. Good for
serious
him.
injuries.
Yeah, that's why I said it.
That's my point.
Last thing here. The negotiating window for major league teams to attempt to acquire Japanese star pitcher Yoshinobu Yamamoto is expected to start Tuesday. A source told ESPN's Buster Olney today. So that's great. The Cardinals will have their guy on Tuesday, it looks like, right?
No, probably not.
That's where these conversations start. Now, Lars Nootbaar's already having some of those conversations on the golf course.
Yeah, he is.
So,
way to boy.
that is good.
Way to go, Lars.
You know, it could be something to talk about at some point. But there is, and you and I were having this conversation a little bit in the office earlier when it comes to Yamamoto. He's going to get paid. We both took the over on the over-under deal of $203 million over, I believe it was a 7-year deal. And he's 25 years old. So wherever he goes, he's going to make life-changing money. He's going to be good to go. And obviously the market is going to allow other things. You go to New York, you go to L.A., they're going to be able to offer things off the field that St. Louis probably can't offer. But there is something to be said with creature comforts too, like having a friend. I saw this study, I forget exactly where it was, but people that have what they consider to be one of their best friends at work are 70% more productive than people that don't have a good friend at work.
Okay.
Maybe there is something to the buddy system, Anthony.
Can you maybe send that to Yamamoto?
Yeah. No, I could. I mean, like I said, Newt, and then maybe Newt could hand that over.
I think that could put
and all.
I think that could put the Cardinals over the top.
Yes.
It's worth it.
It's this was a study from somewhere.
Some
business something.
.com
org.
Org.org. Yeah. By the way, Mark Andrews also out for the year.
So do you think that real quick, how big of a deal is that Mark Andrews has been the most trusted weapon that Lamar Jackson has had?
It is a significant deal, but when you got Isaiah Likely behind you.
Anthony. Isaiah Likely, he's not nothing.
Correct. He had a big
game player.
You know, he had a big game. Whoa,
Thursday?
It was a Thursday night game in Tampa last year. He had a couple of touchdowns, couple of tutties.
So,
when Mark Andrews got hurt.
There you go.
Maybe Isaiah Likely saves the day.
He'll be fine.
Yep.
Happened before.
Who are we going to learn about in the NFL this Sunday? Could be a player, could be a team. We'll take a look at that next on 101 ESPN. Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Brad Thompson, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter. 5:04. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. I'm going to throw out some matchups.
Okay.
You tell me who we're going to learn more about. It could be the team, or it could be a certain player. So who are we going to learn more about this Sunday in the NFL? Why don't we start off in San Francisco, where the 49ers are hosting the Bucs at 3:05. Who do we find out more about in this game? Or do we find out about anything?
I think that we get reaffirmed that the 49ers
or juggernaut with Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, they're way better than the Bucs. Like, that was the funny thing as I was going through. I was making sure, Anthony, that I had my picks in for the 101 ESPN Pick'em Challenge, which, again, you can get in on this weekly. You might be thinking to yourself, man, we're late. It's week 11. I can't get in on this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can. All you got to do is just go to the website. Go to 101ESPN.com, and there you can sign up weekly. There is a winner, and you can win all kinds of great stuff. Yeah. But I was going through some of the picks. Boy, there were not that many intriguing matchups.
There's some bigger lines. How about this one? How about the Sunday night game? Vikings-Broncos.
So this one, I think there's a couple.
Do we find out more about Joshua Dobbs, or if the Broncos are piecing things together under Sean Payton?
I think that we find out more about the Broncos and Payton.
That's where I'm at.
Because sometimes it did not start out the way that they wanted it to over there. We all know the abysmal season that Russell Wilson had last year, and all that equity that Sean Payton had built up over the years in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. That equity stays in New Orleans.
Right.
Like that, you don't just get carryover. It's not residual. Like, wow, we love him too because of all those games he won over there.
Yeah.
No, you haven't done anything yet here in this new spot except for take a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So I think that we've seen this team get better, and the Broncos are actually an example of a team that are taking steps in the right direction, like kind of the way it's supposed to go during a season, as opposed to some teams. Like, you look at the Bills are a good example of a team where you look at them, and we'll talk about them in a second. But they're a team, yes, where it's like you're supposed to be ascending right now. So I think that is going to be the biggest key. Even though it's Dobbs leading the Vikings instead of Kirk Cousins, I think you got a chance to learn a lot about Sean Payton, Russell Wilson, and the Broncos.
That's where I'm at, Marsh.
I'm the same way. I said last week when we mentioned the Vikings and the Saints, I think we know what the Vikings are. Yeah. They're a team with a backup quarterback without their star wide receiver that has solid defense right now, and a good head coach that is helping guide their offense, and they've been winning games. Like, they are the hottest team in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
The Broncos, though, they've been winning some games too, and I think, like what BT said, things didn't really work well for them last year and the beginning of this year, but they're piecing things together somehow, some way they are. So I think every single week from here on out, I think we should keep a close eye on, especially with what happened last night. So who knows? I mean, the AFC, in my opinion, at least the wild card is wide open right now. They could be a team that could find themselves in the playoff spot.
Anthony, I think there is a little intrigue, and not that the Rams have not been good this year, but Stafford is supposed to be back this week, right? So you get Matt Stafford back against the Seahawks, who are in playoff contention. I don't even know what to think about the playoffs at this point, but what do you think that you can learn in that matchup?
So I think we're going to find out more about the Seahawks. The Rams are 3-6, but like you said, with Stafford, they certainly are much different team. They didn't have them against Green Bay. They lost 20-3 and wound up ripping right afterwards. They had him for part of the game, or he played terribly against Dallas. They got blown out. But typically when they have had Stafford, they're a better team, including in week 1 where the Rams went up to Seattle and blew them out.
Yeah.
I'm not a big believer in Seattle. They're 6-3, but Geno Smith, I think they've been fortunate with the way that Geno Smith has played all year long. He played well last week against Washington, but who hasn't? If you go into LA and you lay another egg, I think we find out more about the Seahawks team, that they're closer to being like an average team. If you go into LA and you beat them and you're 7-3, I don't know if I'm completely bought in at that point, but at 7-3, man, you're in the driver's seat. Why don't we do the Monday night game too? Eagles, Chiefs. Do we find out more about Kansas City or Philly?
Oh, man. First of all, we talk about intrigue. It's going to be great. I mean, you don't very often get this, the rematch of the Super Bowl champions. You get it on Monday night in prime time. To me, this is more of the Eagles. Like to see it, and when I say that, it's more Jalen Hurts to me.
Yeah.
Are you able to go on the road in that atmosphere and keep doing what you're doing? We know how good the Eagles are in the trenches.
He does not look 100%.
And which I appreciate that he's going out there and he's doing his thing. Yeah. Now, and with that being the case, we all know that the mobility is what kind of makes him as great as he is, but he's got tons of arm talent.
Yeah.
Can he use that against a secondary for the Chiefs that's pretty solid?
That's kind of where I'm at, the Kansas City defense. Yeah. The Chiefs, they went out to Germany and beat the Dolphins 21-14. And Kansas, to hold that offense to only 14 points is remarkable. I think Kansas City is one of the best defenses already right now in the league. But if you hold that offense, Philly, if you hold that offense in check, there's no doubt now. They faced the Lions in week 1, held them to 21. We know that offense is good. Held Justin Herbert and the Chargers to 17. And completely shut down Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars in week 2, held them to 9. And again, the Dolphins to 14. So I think we continue to learn about this Kansas City defense.
With that, Anthony, with the defense as good as it is for the Chiefs, is there something that holds them back? We were talking earlier in the show about the AFC at large. Mm-hmm. What is it about the Chiefs that maybe doesn't make you fully buy in?
So
is it Taylor Swift?
No, I think if she's there, I think Kansas City's the Super Bowl winner.
They got a pretty good record with her there.
Yeah, they're undefeated.
They are undefeated.
As I would say, undefeated, yeah. Kansas City defense, okay, so the defense has played well. The offensive line has played well. Patrick Mahomes has played well. Kelsey's has been banged up, but he's been Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
I think the thing holding the Chiefs back potentially is their lack of an outside the numbers wide receiver. It didn't hurt them a year ago. They won the Super Bowl. But if there's going to be one thing that is like, hey, we're still in this game somehow with Kansas City, I think it's that lack of that go-to guy. Rashee Rice, the rookie, is slowly developing. Maybe he will be that guy by the end of the year, but that would be the one thing that I would circle for Kansas City.
What about their running game, too?
I think the running game is really good. Andy Reid's got to freaking stick with it.
Right.
Andy Reid gets bored with the run. That's just the book. It's always been the book on Andy Reid. He'll be getting, Isaiah Pacheco will be getting 4, 5, 6 yards a carry. Chiefs will go right down the field, and Andy will get a little bored, start throwing the ball again because he's got Mahomes.
That's what Andy do.
That's what Andy does. That's why Eric Bieniemy said after having Sam Howell throw the ball 482 times in one game, he said, Andy, be proud of me. Yeah, because he knows that Andy Reid just wants to chuck it. I think the running game is really good. I think Isaiah Pacheco is underrated for that matter, but Andy gets a little bored with that running game.
Just for reference, Anthony, the Chiefs need a good receiver outside the numbers because that's important.
Because they already have everything
you want
else.
to trade Stephon Diggs away.
Ooh, how about that? Diggs to KC.
I'm quite sure he'd be happy.
There's no way the Bills would do that.
Perfect fit. The one team they've been trying to build to beat. And they trade one of their best players.
When everybody expects you to zag, though.
Absolutely. That is true. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Let's do our Sports Six-Pack next. If you got a question for us, 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. Send your questions there. We'll address them next in the Sports Six-Pack.
time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is refreshed by Maggie O'Brien's, your go-to Irish pub in St. Louis for over 42 years.
Time for the Sports Six-Pack with Brad Thompson. I'm Anthony Stalter. Here's Andrew Marsh with your questions via the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646.
Question number 1.
All right, guys, from the 618 BT, when your team was batting and the pitchers, a.k.a. you, are sitting watching the game from the bullpen, do you guys chirp or did you chirp at the outfielders of the other team?
No, didn't chirp the outfielders. Oftentimes you end up, you kind of know some of the guys, but no chirping. Generally.
Yeah, that would be kind of Bush League, wouldn't it?
Yeah, kind of. Now, that being said, wouldn't chirp the outfielders, but would absolutely try to throttle them with pumpkin seeds. Like, that was always like a fun flicking those things. The amount of wasted product, really. So pumpkin seeds, and then we used to like chew up gum and then spit it up in the air and hit it with your hat as if it were like you were hitting.
Nice.
And you can hit those things pretty far.
Sure.
Actually. And I had one where they had to delay the start of an inning because I accidentally let go of my hat and it flew onto the field. Frowned upon. And then the bubble gum wrappers, you can turn them into lawn darts and then you fling them out onto the field. And that was always a fun one to do from the dugout and see how close you could get it to the mound. Promise you this, you can get it very close to the mound and you probably shouldn't while someone's pitching.
Wow.
So no chirping, but always
just
games.
Basically everything else.
There's fun to be had.
Yeah. That's impressive.
Always paying attention, though, and ready.
Of course, yeah.
Question number 2.
They weren't calling for me.
Big kids. All of you.
Big dumb animal.
From the 636, just how big of a story is Cody Schrader at Mizzou?
He's a great story, but now he's just a big story overall. I mean, walks on D2.
Leading the SEC in rushing by a wide margin.
Just dominated Tennessee, who's got a really good run defense. He's a great story. He should get some looks, I think, at the Heisman, quite frankly. I don't think he wins it, but I think he should get some looks.
He was on the Pat McAfee show.
He was on the opening drive today.
Yeah, he was.
It's on our station, Marsh.
I'm just saying, yeah, he was.
To hell with Pat McAfee.
I'm just saying
you
he was
can
on
check
a
out
nationally televised TV show.
Randy could afford sleeves. You know?
Exactly.
Take that.
I mean, come on. It's a great story.
I love stories like that of guys that like weren't supposed to be the guy. And the blue chip player is always fun. You want your team to get as many of those as you can. But when you have somebody that walks on, that obviously has that motivation, that chip on their shoulder, and just continues to work, and then you see the success.
Yeah.
To me, there's nothing better than that.
He's the example, right? He's the guy that's like, hey, this is somebody that wasn't highly recruited, but he stuck with it. He knew what his goals were. He had intention to every practice and every game, and now look what he's accomplished. I think it's great.
Dude, not afraid to work, right? And
exactly.
I can't guarantee because I don't know him, but I would bet he's been asked to do a lot of things over the years, and maybe different jobs that weren't necessarily the one that he wanted to do. And I'm guessing he was just a yes, sir kind of guy.
I'm sure.
Hey, can you do that? Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I can do that. And then knowing that when you continue to work, you're going to get the opportunities that you want to have.
To build off your point, Brad, he wasn't pouting.
Right.
He wasn't pouting because he didn't get his opportunities or whatever. He knew at 5'9" and 215 pounds, he wasn't going to get the same look. So he made it happen for himself. I think it's fantastic.
Question number 3.
From the 618, if you could go back in time and see any game live, but only one game, what would you see?
One game live.
Anthony, would you pick the...
No, Brad, I wouldn't. No.
You wouldn't pick the Super Bowl with your Falcons?
No.
Get a chance to see that in person?
Nope.
Would you pick the first half and then never have another memory?
Yes. Yeah, if I could do the first half and then have, my memory wiped, yes.
Wow.
Because I'd be really happy.
like full on like Homer-ism here, and like I got to live through being a part of a world championship team in 06, but I would love to be there for the atmosphere at Busch Stadium during 2011. So that Game 6.
Yeah,
I would love to be there for that. As we've joked about plenty of times, I watched that game and I watched it in Spanish in the Dominican Republic. Had a little bit different call as I was playing winter ball there. I would love to have been around that atmosphere.
Yeah, that's a great one. Brett Marsh, were you there?
No.
Weren't you in one of those games?
I went to the 2006 when they won.
Yeah,
so I saw
did.
Brad.
How old
I
were
saw
you?
Brad celebrate. I was 10 years old.
10 years old.
Nice.
Golly. 10 years old.
10 years old.
Makes me feel old.
You know what game recently that I would have loved to be there, and maybe some in our audience was there? The 13-second game. The Bills and Chiefs playoff game. Oh, I mean, what an epic finish. Unless you're a Bills fan, of course.
Yeah.
But I think that would be at Arrowhead. Do you think the Bills are gonna win this thing, and then the Chiefs do that? Remarkable.
I would have loved to have been at the Miracle on Ice game.
That'd be great. Certainly.
Would have been sweet.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of great choices. What's the most memorable game you were at live as a fan?
Ooh.
I would say the Appalachian State upset over Michigan.
That's right, you were there.
That one was, I mean, that's one that everybody, it was like the first massive upset in college football. Not the first, but
Pretty
you know what I mean.
neat to be there for those events.
Yeah.
Like, I realize, like, going to a sporting event, it's crazy expensive now. And like bringing a family to a sporting event is crazy expensive. And there are times where you wonder, like, why am I paying for this? You just never know what you might see. Like, you never know, like, that you could be there for a no-hitter or a cycle or a 4-home run day or a huge upset. And it's a memory you might end up having forever.
Or fans.
Or disco demolition.
Or players going into the stands.
Or players going into the stands. Anthony, you were there for that too.
Beating up fans that deserved it.
Probably.
So are you asking like memorable game as in like the game itself was, or the most like memorable game for me?
No. Memorable game. If I say Appalachian State, Michigan, like the majority of the people know what I'm talking about. Like for you, I was there. Like what?
Probably Game 7 against the Dallas Stars of a Stanley Cup run.
Okay. So the Pat Maroon game?
The Pat Maroon game.
Great.
That's probably, I mean, I can't think of another one off the top of my head right now.
No,
so
that's
probably up there.
That's a great one. Now, BT, you had front row for was it Game 6 or 7?
In New York.
NLCS.
Yeah, that's honestly, that's still the most memorable game. When I was there, I was on the team for the Pujols home run against Lidge. Incredible. And obviously winning the World Series, that's the pinnacle. But during that run, that Game 7 at Shea with Waino striking out Beltran, I mean, that's...
Were you guys behind the wall when...
I was right behind Andy Chavez's glove. Right behind his glove.
Wow.
Like this, ready to catch it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, me and Tyler Johnson right there. Whoa! Oh, here it is! Oh,
what happened?
What is it?
Where's the ball? Who caught it?
Who is that? Superhero?
I think the coolest game, now that I think about it, I was really young, but it was Game 4 of the 04 World Series when the Red Sox broke the curse. I was at that game. So that's
terrible.
Probably, well, I know it's a terrible memory, but like for a sports memory, that's probably up there.
Yeah, I understand why you brought it up. I just don't like that you brought it up. You know,
I get it.
You know, the Rose Bowl between Texas and USC is one of the best college football games I ever watched on TV. You know, that would be one that'd be great.
That would be a real. That would be my choice, actually.
Vince Young.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Reggie Bush.
We get a ton of great text messages into the text line here, 314-399-9646. Somebody picked the game. Oh, gosh darn, I lost it. What's it called? The hockey game at Busch Stadium.
Oh, the Winter Classic.
Thank you, Winter Classic. Somebody picked that one. I lost it. The record-breaking home run of Mark McGuire.
Okay,
another one to end up.
Brad, you were at Albert Pujols'
700.
Yeah, 701.
It was in L.A.
Yeah, right there.
In Los Angeles when he hit it.
Yeah, for sure. You're on the broadcast.
I was a broadcaster at the time. Now, at the time of those 2 home runs, I happened to be a broadcaster who had the day off because of Apple TV.
But you were there, though.
I was there at my hotel watching on my Apple iPad because I knew that no bar or restaurant would have Apple TV.
Right. That sucks. That was Greg Ambassador's fault. Greg called that.
Yeah, he picked that date,
He
didn't
picked that date. He picked every, yeah. It's just an awful thing that Greg did to St. Louis fans.
Probably stole it from Anthony.
Probably, yep.
Question number 4.
From the 573, Oakland has lost the Warriors, the Raiders, and now the A's, with lack of fan support being a key component of all 3. Has this ever happened before to a city? Why is Oakland unable to support these teams?
Because Oakland hasn't been trying. Those teams have not been trying. The A's have not been trying to win. The Raiders, I guess kind of. The Raiders, I guess, have been trying. I don't think the Raiders lacked for fan support at all.
It sure has not seemed like that.
No. You get a city that, as Dan McLaughlin was with us yesterday, a city that has a difficult time passing certain laws, certainly with stadiums and things like that in California. The teams have had a lot of issues with the city. The city has had a lot of issues with the team, and I think the fans are the victims. Just like here in St. Louis, if you just looked at it and said, they didn't support the Rams, you're missing it. It's a straw man argument. You're not focused on what really happened here in St. Louis. And I think if we say that same thing, like, the fans out, are you telling me A's fans wouldn't support that team if they were trying? There's no way. The A's have a great fan base.
They really do.
The Raiders had a great fan base in Oakland.
Yeah, and I don't know the answer to this, but I would assume, too, because, you're fighting, obviously, against San Francisco teams for eyeballs and dollars. But a lot of that corporate money, too, that keeps things afloat is probably going a different direction.
Good call. Yep.
Question number 5.
From the 314, where do the Fast Lane guys stand on Christmas music and decorations before Thanksgiving?
I always, every year, on Black Friday, get the Christmas tree stuff out. That's kind of my date for that.
Okay.
Get the kids. We got one smaller tree out front that I let the kids, have at it. They can decorate it any way they want. And then the bigger one in the family room, I'll typically do that with the kids' help. But it's always Black Friday. It's always the day after Christmas. Or, day after Thanksgiving.
Where are you at with Christmas music?
Fine. Around the holidays, like if you got a party and you want some background music, I'm good with. I'm typically not listening Christmas music driving to work.
So I never choose to listen to it. Christmas music is already playing at my house, though.
Oh, really?
Already. So we're not even at Thanksgiving.
Pre-Thanksgiving.
Right after Halloween.
Wow. No, I can't.
It is on.
I can't.
Yeah, the kids like it.
It's disrespectful to the turkey.
Is it?
Yeah. They'll tell you.
Tom Turkey's not mad about that. So, the decoration, I am generally with you. If not the Friday, it's that next weekend usually. Although this year we are going to be hosting Thanksgiving, but the original plan we weren't going to be. And I told my wife, I go, hey, instead of like the hustle and bustle of like right after, if you guys want to decorate early, let me know so I can just knock it out. I got free time, Anthony.
It's true.
I got some time.
Yeah.
So I can do that. But generally it's that next weekend. But my family loves Christmas music and they have beaten me over the head with it. So if the kids are enjoying it, if the wife's enjoying it, I'm in my ear with my AirPods and I listen to books.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah, I'm not going to push back on that because if the kids are happy, it's really hard to take away their happiness. That will happen later on, but you're not going to do that when you're younger.
Life will do that to them.
Life will do it. Plenty. Yep.
I can't say I go out of my way to turn on Christmas music. It just, if it's there, hey, we're rocking and rolling, right?
Yeah.
It's the holiday season,
but you're not seeking it out.
I'm not seeking it out.
Right.
Where are you at with, in terms of Christmas music, Baby It's Cold Outside? It's one of my favorites.
Well, apparently there's a lot of...
Baby, it's cold out there.
There's a lot of stuff going on in that one, right?
That's what they say. Yeah. There's like innuendo or out-do or in and out-do. But I think
if you like it, you like it.
Yeah. It's cold outside.
You don't have to go too deep with that.
No. No cabs to be had out there, Anthony.
Have you
It's
heard
so
Will
cold.
Ferrell sing it in Elf?
So good.
What a voice.
Yeah. He that was a duet.
Yeah.
Sure was. Sure was.
I forget
What's
her
her
name.
It's is it
That is
it's one of the
Zoe
Deschanel.
Deschanel.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Boy,
That's her name.
good movie. That
Great
Elf.
movie.
Mm-hmm.
Probably my favorite Christmas movie.
Is it?
If we're going to be honest.
Okay.
Buddy the Elf and Jack Christmas.
That's solid.
Getting it done this holiday.
There you go. Good.
If you have no idea what Jack Christmas is, you need to go back to listen to that podcast. Around that 4 o'clock time. It's Gauntlet.
You may hear a lot in that Gauntlet. All right, we got Build Your Sleeper Team next. We'll tell you the results, and also, hey, we also need a new fade or follow contestant, right? Yeah, he faded us last week. I feel bad for him. He faded us.
That's
I don't.
stupid.
He followed us for 4 weeks, didn't he? He followed us for 4 weeks.
What was your off the mark play? What did you?
I said Steelers. Steelers -3 against the Packers last week. And he says, I don't trust the Steelers, which I don't blame him, but that also means you're putting your faith behind the Packers.
It's hard to be a Packer backer.
Exactly. Right now. Absolutely. So that's too bad. But we do need a new fade or follow contestant. So if you want to text in 314-399-9646, text in the word fade, you'll have an opportunity to play FanDuel's fade or follow. But Build Your Sleeper Team is next.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues lost to the Sharks last night by a final score of 5-1. They will be back in action tomorrow night taking on the LA Kings. Pregame starts at 8:30. Puck drop is at 9:30. Catch all the action right here on your home of the Blues, 101 ESPN. Last night, Thursday Night Football, the Ravens took down the Bengals 34-20. Mark Andrews of Baltimore is out for the year. So is Joe Burrow of Cincinnati. Those two players, big-time players for their team, will be out the remainder of the season. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We will build our sleeper team, get the results from last week. That's all coming your way next, right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Brad Thompson, Anthony Stalter, Andrew Marsh. And before we build our sleeper teams for Week 11 in the NFL, Marsh, how did we do last week?
All right, in third place, me. I was terrible.
Marshy.
Again,
You're on the podium, though. That's bronze.
Well, Brad, there was only three of us. 25.36 points. I had Will Levis, who only had 5.96, George Pickens 7.5, and Jerome Ford 11.9. So not a lot for me. However, in first place, I believe this might be the most points we have received all year long. Didn't even pick his team, Jamie Rivers.
Oh, no.
We picked
for him.
Oh,
nice job, boys.
That stinks.
55.62 points. Baker Mayfield, 18.32. David Montgomery, 17.6. Tyler Boyd, 19.7. Anthony, you weren't too far behind. You had 43.18. You had Sam Howell, who had 24.18. Jalen Warren, 19 points on the dot. And Jahan Dodson.
He screwed me.
Big goose egg. 0.
That hurts a little bit.
All right. Well, we're on to Cincinnati. Here we go. BT. You have honors, and it doesn't have to be the quarterback first. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, that's all we're doing.
Oh, okay. So I can pick whatever. So this is one where I need to pick one that I don't think that you guys are going to take. Or I do think that you might take.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
Can I pick a quarterback that's won a Super Bowl?
Are you picking Matthew Stafford?
Yeah.
No.
Can I pick him?
I would say yes, based on Marshall's
coming back
response.
off injury, right?
Yeah. I would. Yeah.
Is this the first time all year, too, that Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp are going to be on the field at the same time? Because I know that Cooper Kupp is a little bit banged up early also.
Cooper Kupp, he played with Stafford against Arizona. I think they had 2 games. Now, Cooper Kupp would not be a sleeper, but I'll give you Matt.
Yeah,
we'll give
either
you
way,
Matt
I'm going to go Matthew Stafford as the guy here. They're facing against the Seahawks. We talked about this game a little bit earlier. I know that the record there for the Rams is not a good one, but being at home, healthy with Cooper Kupp there, I like his chances to put up some points.
All right, good call. Now, Marsh, would you like to go next, or would you like to go back-to-back picks?
No, you go next. I have to find a new quarterback now.
All right. I'm going to go Jordan Love. I'm going to go Jordan Love against the Chargers. You may be thinking to yourself, why Love? He stinks. Have you seen the Chargers defense?
Terrible.
Terrible is right.
Terrible.
We are going sleeper style. And Jordan Love, I think, played one of his better games last week. He was, and that was a difficult matchup against Pittsburgh as well. So he's had 3 really good matchups this year. This would be one of them against the Chargers. 23 points, 20.3 points, and 17.6 points in those 3 games. So when the matchup is right, Jordan Love has been productive. So Jordan Love is my first pick. Marsh, you can go back-to-back here, kid.
So is Jameis Winston starting this week?
He should.
I can't roll the dice like that. I can't do it.
But he's actually, you know what? He's not, because the Saints aren't playing.
That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, they're on bye.
Oh,
You can.
man.
I'll allow it. I don't know how BT feels, but I'll allow you to take Jameis Winston.
You know what?
I don't like what you guys are doing.
I don't like it, Anthony, but it's your show as you've
Thank you, bro.
You've said a lot. So, yeah.
I'm glad you got that memo again.
Go ahead and do it.
Man, these quarterbacks stink. I'm going to go with Aiden O'Connell.
Hey, that's Brad's guy.
Aiden.
He'll be trailing, so...
Yeah, I like the game script.
Yeah, he'll have to.
He's gonna be fine. This is gonna be one of those breakout games. We're like, this is when Aiden O'Connell becomes a household name.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, I like your optimism.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Wait until it happens.
All right, Marsh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to take Jalen Warren. I know you were probably going to take him, so I'm going to take him back because I had him earlier in the year.
I was not going to take Jalen Warren. I was going to take Ty Chandler.
I was going to take Ty Chandler.
Vikings because your guy Alexander Mattson likely out against Denver.
He is Isaiah likely out.
Yeah, so Ty Chandler in a good spot Sunday night against Denver.
Yeah, that is a good pick.
He should be the RB1 there. So, BT, you get your two selections here, and I know you're probably scrambling a little bit for the RB.
You think I'm scrambling for the RB?
You're prepared.
Can I go with my receiver first?
Yeah, of course.
Good. I'm going to take Romeo Doubs. For the same reason that you took Jordan Love as your quarterback. I'm going to go Romeo Doubs as my receiver. The secondary sucks for the Chargers. And I think that he's going to end up putting up some big points. Can I pick Devin Singletary?
Yes, oh yeah.
See, I mean, he's not.
He'd be the guy in Houston now. Yeah,
he's
no,
not
he'd be
a
sleeper.
big. I'm going to pick Devin Singletary
That's a
as
good
my
call.
guy. I did like your Ty Chandler. He did have the 45 yards, the touchdown last time out.
Yes, sir.
But, this game sucks where people take your people.
Right.
I'm going to go Devin Singletary as my running back.
So, Brad, it's interesting. You took Romeo Doubs. I'm going to take Jaden Reed.
Really?
Of Green Bay. I was flipping between the two.
Throw it all over the yard.
So, one of us probably going to have it's probably Christian Watson. That
good. Yeah, they're just going to lose and not score.
Probably. All right, so that's my team. Jordan Love, Ty Chandler, Jaden Reed. Marsh, your final play.
Oh, man. I mean, this guy is not a sleeper by any means.
You can't take Devontae
I'm sorry. He is a sleeper now. He's been asleep while his team's been playing, and that is Calvin Ridley, your favorite player.
I picked him a couple weeks ago.
You did.
I think he might have got 1 point.
Yeah, I don't think you did well.
Tried hard.
I am going to take him.
Good effort.
Hoping he does something.
Okay. All right. There you go. There's Build Your Own Sleeper. We're going to do a very quick fade or follow next on 101 ESPN.
Anthony, we've been talking about FanDuel for a long time, and it is the place to be. And hopefully, most of the people listening right now, you've signed up, you've been a part of it. But right now, if you haven't, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. Anthony, money line bet.
So they got to cover the spread.
No spread. It's money line. Your team just has to win. Pick the biggest favorite, put $5 on it, and you can win $150 in bonus bets.
So Dolphins over the Raiders.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't. I just told you the Raiders. I mean, this is going to be the Aiden O'Connell game.
So 49ers over Bucks.
I like that. I do like that.
So Bills over Jets. Well, maybe one of those other games. It's up to you. FanDuel's got all of the action for you. Visit FanDuel.com/fast, and then you can take advantage of the $150 in bonus bets when your winning $5 moneyline bet hits. $150 back in bonus bets, but you do have to sign up. FanDuel.com/fast, and then you can participate in all the action this Sunday with FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL.
21 and over, President Illinois. First online real money wager only. $5 pregame moneyline wager required. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issues non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's time for FanDuel Fade or Follow on the Fast Lane.
Brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more.
Everyone follow us.
No fade. Money, 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 money.
All right, time for FanDuel's Fade or Follow here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Brad Thompson and Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. We welcome in Lewis, who's our latest contestant for Fade or Follow. What's up, Lewis?
What's going on, boys? I hope the Fade or Follow has nothing to do with the Blues because I already lost the house yesterday. I'm lucky I still have the car.
No, well, let's get that back then.
Yeah, gotta get it back.
Go.
There's only one way to get the house back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
You're going to win. Florida, Mizzou, tomorrow night, so no Blues game. We're going to take the over, 57.5. Florida's given up, what did Bradford say on the road? 38.5 points, I think, on the road this year. Mizzou hasn't scored under 30 at home, so this one should be a shootout. Over 57.5 is our Fade or Follow play. Would you like to fade us or follow us, Lewis?
You know, I play high school football with Cody Schrader. I'm going to go ahead and follow that because my man's going for 100-plus rushing yards and at least 2 touchdowns.
Okay,
yes,
there we
dude.
go. Nice. You can root for Cody, you can root for Mizzou, and you can root for a bunch of points. So that sounds good. And then you get $50 of FanDuel's money, and then you can come back next week if you win, Lewis.
Sounds like a plan. I plan on being here.
Good man. All right, we plan on calling you next week. Thanks for playing.
All right. Thank you, guys. Enjoy your weekend.
You too. Thank you.
I'm so excited he's going to get his house back.
I know, right? That's good. I don't know if $50 from FanDuel covers it, but
Dude,
it's a start.
You just keep going. Oh, you put that into a PD parlay, though, Anthony.
That's true. Yeah.
Get about a 12-legger.
We can build this thing up real quick for him.
Yeah, we can.
Mm-hmm. All right. You want to read the disclaimer again, or are we okay?
Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLE.
There you go. All right, Marsh, actually, first, before we do that, Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers.
Yeah, that's where you can find the podcast if you missed anything.
There we go. Yeah,
from today's show.
I put Marsh on the spot there. Yeah, download the podcast 101ESPN.com or your 101 ESPN mobile app. That's the podcast. What do you got for criticisms and compliments?
Yeah, from the 314. Wait, that time Marsh went to the restroom and missed the rest of the show wasn't real.
No, it was not.
I mean, part of it probably was.
Maybe. I'm sure you went to the bathroom at some point during that day.
Quick little Deuce McAllister, but we made it seem like you were in there for quite some time.
The whole show we made it sound like.
Oh, I was listening to the show on my way to wherever I was going, and all I hear...
The doctor after being in the... Probably. So long.
All I hear is you guys talking about my bowel movements.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, that's good. Fake. Meat going poop in the back of the women's basketball bus.
That was real.
That's real.
Yeah.
So that was real. Mine was fake. Last one here from the 314. Anthony really seems to be extra critical today since the Sharks beat the Blues last night.
Why would I be critical?
I don't know. You were very confident. Like you walked into the office today and you said, "Told you." It's exactly what you said, being a Sharks fan.
I said, "No, here's lunch, guys." Thank you, Brad, for lunch. That was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
It's delicious.
Yeah, it was absolutely delicious. All right, everybody have a great weekend. Thank you for listening. BT will be back with us next week. I think Tuesday is your day. For Brad Thompson and Andrew Marsh, I'm Anthony Stalter. See you.